Chapter 1744. I received a message from Heaven Cultivation King's personal angel you. The king is returning to the nebula. The angel said lightly. Yes. The guardian angels were shocked and immediately replied respectfully, the king has left the angel nebula for quite some time. There is no news at all. If he doesn't return, Heaven Cultivation King might lead the angel army to sweep the entire universe. Heaven Cultivation King is the highest combat power in the angel nebula. Without her, no one can govern the darkness of the universe. Who knows what chaos will happen? The guardian angels whispered. Captain Yen, have you been to Heaven Cultivation King's Yin-Yang Nebula? The guardian angel suddenly asked. Why do you ask? The golden-haired angel glanced at him from the corner of his eyes. I heard that the dark angels represent the other extreme power of us angels. They have extremely powerful destructive power but are difficult to control. They require Heaven Cultivation King to personally impart a special genetic code to activate them. They have a special dark angel divine body. I heard that only one dark angel warrior can be born out of 10,000 angels. The guardian angel said reverently. The Yin-Yang Nebula was where the Yin-Yang Cosmic Alliance was located. It was a special area independent of the Angel Nebula. Not only were there angels, but there were also many experts who joined the Yin-Yang Cosmic Alliance. For example, there were super warriors on the Blue Planet and immortal generals on the Blazing Sun Heavenly Path. That power is extremely powerful. Even we angels cannot control it at will. The angel called Yen replied lazily. To become a dark angel, you need to go through a test. Your combat age is too low, less than 5,000 years. You cannot accept the baptism of the dark power. If you want to control the darkness, it is useless to only have light in your heart. You also need to truly become darkness. She paused as she spoke, as if she was trying to intimidate the guardian angels. The guardian angels were immediately frightened and did not dare to speak. Why don't you choose to become a dark angel? Captain Yen, your strength and combat age are definitely enough, right? A guardian angel said with a smile. Back then, Angeling, who was at the same level as you, could become a dark angel. You can definitely do it too. You can obtain a stronger divine body and power. I can. Yen revealed a smile. Then you? Yen touched the wings on her back and said, but I feel that white wings look better than black wings. So, after thinking about it, I decided to forget about it. The guardian angel was speechless. Many angels in the Angel Nebula yearned to become a dark angel and experience another power of angels. But it was clear that this Yen angel did not have such awareness. At this moment, a streak of light suddenly appeared in the distance. What a powerful aura! In an instant, the well-trained guardian angels immediately cast their gazes into the distance. Yen angel's brows furrowed even more deeply. What a powerful aura fluctuation! Furthermore, this fluctuation belonged to an angel. She was at least an angel of the same level as him. However, it was still rather unfamiliar. Could it be the Dark Angel from the Yin-Yang Nebula? However, the Dark Angels usually only followed the Heaven Cultivation King. Their powers were different from the Angel Nebula, and they rarely came to the Angel Nebula. Who? Yen Fei flew into the starry sky, and with a clear shout, he pulled out a long sword burning with raging flames from the void. This was the standard weapon of the Angel Nebula. Yen, what are you doing? It's me. The light and shadow condensed and turned into an angel with a blank look on his face. You are, Yen Angel glanced at him. I seem somewhat familiar, but why is it different from what I remember? Wait, she suddenly widened her eyes. You are you. You are the personal angel of the Heaven Cultivation King. No, the aura of your divine body is that of the 4th generation divine body. Who exactly are you, to dare pretend to be the personal angel of the Heaven Cultivation King? Angel, you blinked. Sister Yen, look carefully, I am only at the peak of the 3rd generation divine body. I have not reached the level of the fourth generation divine body. The angel divine body had a special engine that could sense the level of development of the divine body. There was only a very slight difference between the peak of the third generation divine body and the fourth generation divine body. Yen Angel's divine body was currently only at the peak of the third generation divine body. It was difficult to distinguish the difference between it and the fourth generation divine body. Even if it is the peak of the third generation divine body, it is impossible. Angel Yen sneered. Little thing, who exactly are you? Even if you want to become Angel Yu to deceive me. That little angel only has the second generation divine body. You should have at least asked around before pretending, right? The personal angel of the Heaven Cultivation King is only used for the daily care of the Heaven Cultivation King. You don't even belong to the Heaven Cultivation King's personal angel, so where did the peak of the third generation divine body come from? Even if the Heaven Cultivation King's true personal angels are not all peak of the third generation divine body. I know all the known ones. With that, Angel Yen pointed his sword at Angel Yu. Who exactly are you, if you don't speak? Angel Yu shook her head helplessly and looked at the starry sky. I, who was transformed into a peak of the third generation divine body by the king, can't even enter the door of the Angel Nebula. Sister Yen even suspects that I am an impostor. What should I do? I am so anxious. The king will be back soon. Sister Yen, it really is me. Angel Yu was very anxious, but she didn't know how to explain. Because she couldn't explain it clearly in a short time. Besides, Sister Yen, don't fight. You might not be able to beat me now. Angel Yu hurriedly waved her hand. Angel Yan's face sank. Good fellow. If you are Angel Yu, I can hang you up and beat you for 10 days and 10 nights. Angel Yen sneered and was about to attack. At this moment, an elegant figure slowly walked out from the door of light, accompanied by a cold voice. Yen, stop. She is little Yu. As soon as the voice fell, Angel Yen stopped. The guardian angels around the door of light knelt down and said respectfully, Sky Foundation King. She, what do you mean? Angel Yen frowned. The newcomer was one of the 3 kings of the Angel Nebula, Sky Foundation King she. However, after the ascension of the Heaven Cultivation King, she thought that it was time for her to retire, so she took the initiative to resign from the many angel elders and removed the title of Sky Foundation King. However, although the title was removed, the angels of the Angel Nebula still maintained the title. It's literally what it means. She glanced at Angel Yu elegantly with a hint of laziness. She is Angel Yu, but she has already evolved to a peak of the third generation divine body. Angel Yen frowned and didn't say anything. She's position in the Angel Nebula was needless to say. She couldn't lie. Moreover, she was one of the 3 kings who came together with Holy Kaisha. She was one of the few angels in the Angel Nebula who had evolved to the 4th generation divine body. Not only would she not lie, but Angel Yu also couldn't hide anything from her. However, Angel Yu had only been around for a few years. There were many personal angels by the Heaven Cultivation King's side, and it was undeniable that most of them were angels with great potential. However, it was impossible for the Heaven Cultivation King to directly evolve a personal angel who only had a 2nd generation divine body to a peak of the 3rd generation divine body, right? Little Yu, you secretly followed the Heaven Cultivation King. When you went, you were only a 2nd generation divine body. When you came back, you were already a peak of the 3rd generation divine body. She smiled slightly. In human terms, you really made us look at you in a new light. Tell us, how did your divine body evolve? Angel Yu tilted her head and thought. How did the king make her evolve? It seemed like he just tapped on her. I don't know. Angel Yu said in a daze. The king just tapped on me and I evolved. I didn't want to talk about this. Chapter 1745. Wang Feng stood on a street, walking and stopping every now and then. There were all kinds of cars on the street, magnificent buildings, and an endless stream of people. There was even a relatively high-tech suspension track suspended in midair. It gave Wang Feng the illusion that he had returned to Earth in his previous life. It's really like another blue planet in a parallel universe. Wang Fengxin sighed. This was the blue planet's Grand Canyon City. It was the blue planet in the universe where Qianrenxue was. Since he had come to the universe where Qianrenxue was, Wang Feng came to the blue planet to see if it was different from the blue planet in his previous life. If one didn't look deeply into history and civilization, it was almost exactly the same. Wang Feng was not in a hurry to go to the Angel Nebula. He came to this universe with only one purpose. Other than helping Qianrenxue, it was to collect the power of faith. With his current ability, he could 100% satisfy any needs of all life in this universe. Of course, it would be a little difficult to meet Qianrenxue's level. In a few more years, the Douluo world will slowly get closer to this civilization. Qianrenxue beside him said softly. She was not in the appearance of an angel, but an ordinary human woman, wearing sky-blue jeans and a white shirt, and there were no wings on her back. She looked like an ordinary street beauty, but her looks were slightly better than the rest. You miss it. Qianrenxue pouted slightly. Why? Is there someone in your previous life that you can't forget? Yes, a close relative, but he passed away. He should have reincarnated by now. Wang Feng replied. Here, other than you, who else could it be? Oh, I remember, there's Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong. Qianrenxue looked at Wang Feng in surprise. A super warrior from Earth and a super warrior from a very ancient era. You know him? When I was in the Dark Demon Realm, I was lucky enough to come here for a while through the wormhole. We happened to meet. Wang Feng said. Qianrenxue nodded. This was normal. Let's take a walk. Wang Feng turned and looked at Qianrenxue. The time flow of this universe was not equal to that of the God System's universe. It was even slower on the blue planet. He had no impression of it even if he stayed for a few more days. Qianrenxue narrowed his eyes and snorted. He grabbed Wang Feng's arm and started to walk slowly with Wang Feng on the commercial street. As the king of the angel civilization, Qianrenxue had little interest in the pre-nuclear civilization of the blue planet. After the Galactic War, the blue planet joined the Light-Dark Universe Alliance. Although the people of the blue planet did not agree with her Dark Order, they also did not agree with the righteous order left by the Holy Kaisha. However, as a community of the universe, the purpose of the Light-Dark Universe Alliance was to protect the peace of the universe. For this reason, the blue planet was happy to join. As the king of the Angel Nebula, it was obviously impossible for him to become a human woman if he was another angel of the Angel Nebula. Qianrenxue was different. She had traveled to many places in the universe and was different from most of the angels in the Angel Nebula. Their experiences were also completely different. Compared to the calm and graceful demeanor of the Holy Kaisha, Qianrenxue was more casual. Speaking of which, when I was in the Dark Demon Realm, I met many human souls of the blue planet. Wang Feng said. After Yan Qingjue took control of the reincarnation well, those human souls should have been reincarnated. I don't know if they have returned to the blue planet. Shouldn't they be reincarnated in the Dark Demon Realm? Qianrenxue pulled Wang Feng into a movie theater and wanted to buy ticket. Suddenly, she awkwardly found that she did not have any human money. I have no money. Qianrenxue glanced at Wang Feng and said righteously. The movie was a sci-fi movie, Wandering Galaxy, adapted from the Galactic War. It was different from the movie theater in Wang Feng's memory. This was a holographic theater that could really immerse people in the war that once gathered most of the forces in the universe. There was no need for any glasses, helmets, or cockpit. Wang Feng glared at Qianrenxue. Then I won't watch it. What's the point? How is it not interesting? Qian Rinxue was a little angry. Are you looking down on the universe here? This is the civilization war that established the foundation of the angel civilization and the entire universe. Fortunately, the two were communicating telepathically. Otherwise, the words between the two might sound crazy to outsiders. With our identities, we can't just make some money out of thin air, right? Wang Feng looked around helplessly. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Since you came to our universe, to the human civilization, you have to follow the rules here. Qian Rinxue suddenly smiled. A hint of slyness flashed in his eyes. Got it. Wang Feng looked around. Suddenly, he dropped Qian Rinxue's arm and walked in another direction. Qian Rinxue's gaze followed Wang Feng's gaze. It was a 16 or 17-year-old boy pushing a wheelchair. A middle-aged man with a cold expression sat in the wheelchair. There were a few obvious scars on the man's face. There was a faint murderous aura, but at this time, his eyes were exuding an aura of the setting sun. Qian Rinxue watched quietly. Wang Feng walked over and said a few words to the boy. The boy looked at Wang Feng suspiciously. The middle-aged man frowned slightly. He seemed to be very wary. But Wang Feng said something and the boy became a little excited. Then, he closed his eyes and muttered a few words with his hands as if praying. Then, he solemnly handed Wang Feng $100. Wang Feng gently blew at the middle-aged man and left. Then, the middle-aged man's face showed a shocked expression as if something unbelievable had happened. He stood up from the wheelchair and seemed to have not reacted yet. He was cold for a long time. Let's go. Wang Feng held the money in his hand and said with a smile. That middle-aged man should be a veteran of Earth, a veteran of the Galactic War. Qian Rinxue whispered. The Galactic War was a war caused by the Dark Demon Realm. The lives that survived the war were basically eroded by the special Dark Demon power of those soul demons. Human civilization is now unable to crack this Dark Demon power. That veteran should not be able to live for long. With the current human technology, he can only barely survive, but the injuries he suffered will never be able to recover. Unless we use the highest technology of our angel civilization. You helped him recover. That boy produced a special power of faith. Why are you also interested in the faith of humans? Qian Rinxue snorted softly. She heard it very clearly. The boy muttered a few cliched words. Those who believe in me will live forever. Those who respect me will live forever. Those who worship me will enjoy good health. It was to let the boy believe in a god. This god was naturally Wang Feng. Just to earn some extra money. Wang Feng pointed at the money in his hand. We angels of the Angel Nebula have faith. Qian Rinxue suddenly said. You want the angels to believe in you, but not all of them are like Xiao Yu, who is so easily bought. Buying is not the right word. Wang Feng bought 2 tickets and walked into the theater with Qian Rinxue. Angel Yu's own potential is not enough to support her to reach the peak of the 3rd-generation godly body. What I have bestowed upon her is a favor that is far beyond her imagination. She is the one who believes in me. How did it become buying when it came to you? Anyway, it is buying. Qian Rinxue laughed. It will be difficult for you to buy other angels. Most of the angels believe in me. They did not produce the power of faith for you. Wang Feng shook his head. They have developed reverence for you, not faith. Faith is a belief and admiration of a lower life form for a higher life form. The level of life form itself is not equal. This was the theory of the divine universe. It made some sense. Chapter 1746. Qian Rinxue pursed her lips and walked into the theater, quietly enjoying the magnificence of the movie with Wang Feng. The movie was very long, with an epic length of 4 to 5 hours. However, these 4 to 5 hours were actually not enough to fully depict the entire battle. It might not even reach 1%. This battle had been fought for several years. However, it was a movie, so it naturally had to be summarized. What Wang Feng did not expect was that the biggest protagonist of this battle was Qianrenshu. She was the one who led the Angel Nebula, joined forces with the Cerulean Planet and the Scorching Sun Heavenly Path to defeat the soul demons of the Dark Demon Realm. Even the Devil Civilization and the Styx Nebula were involved. After all, the Dark Demon Realm was an invader from another universe. The internal strife of their own universe was an internal strife of their own universe. No wonder you wanted me to watch it. Wang Feng appreciated Qianrenshu's valiant and heroic appearance in the movie. This human actress didn't even act out 1% of her mannerisms. Qianrenshua looked proud. Back then, I dealt with several demon gods alone. There were also 2 demon gods who had special engines similar to our divine bodies. We broke through many desolate galaxies, and the sky turned dark. It's more than 1%, Wang Feng said. Not even 1%. Qianrenshu nodded, very satisfied with Wang Feng's sweet words. After watching the movie, Qianrenshu was a little reluctant to go directly to the Angel Nebula, so they found a hotel and rested for the night. They made love and were ready to return to the Angel Nebula the next day. On the way. Oh, little Yu doesn't seem to have even entered the Angel Nebula. I told her to return first and get ready to welcome me. Why is she dragging her feet? Qianrenshu and Wang Feng wandered in the universe at a leisurely pace. Sitting on Qianrenshu's special throne, they traveled through space and looked at the changes in the universe and galaxies. Wang Feng was not in a hurry. However, Qianrenshu was a little unhappy. The Queen of the Angel Nebula had brought her man back. If she didn't show off, wouldn't it be embarrassing? That girl must have been misunderstood. Wang Feng smiled. She went from a second-generation divine body to a third-generation peak divine body. The angels in the Angel Nebula didn't have such a huge improvement. I'm 80% sure that it's a fake. Maybe he's trying to explain himself in front of the door right now. The truth was as Wang Feng had expected. At this moment, Angel Yu was explaining, but she didn't explain clearly. Who is the king? Yen Angel stared at Angel Yu. This girl is so muddle-headed. Do you think your divine body is a light bulb? Can it light up with a light tap? Your Majesty. Sky Foundation King Hushi thought for a moment and was slightly shocked. Could it be Heaven Cultivation King's man? The Angel Nebula had no taboos when it came to partners. However, most angels were proud. Especially now, the Angel Nebula was dominated by women. The 2 kings, Holy Keisha and Heaven Cultivation King, were both women. The status of female angels was extremely high. The male angels were banished along with the old Heavenly Palace order. In the angel civilization where women were supreme, it was very difficult for angels to fancy other life forms. Unless it was the top-notch kind. Otherwise, angels didn't need to find partners and didn't need to become someone's guardian angel. Anyway, the reproduction of angels didn't need to go through special exercises like mortals. Even the Dark Demon Realm had magic reproduction technology, not to mention the angel civilization. As the king of the entire Angel Nebula, the leader of the light and dark universe, the legendary existence of the universe, it was really unbelievable that Heaven Cultivation King would find a man. She also didn't understand. The main thing was that no life form in the current universe was worthy of Heaven Cultivation King. Yes. Angel Yu nodded like a chick pecking rice. Sky Foundation King, you're still so smart. You hit the nail on the head. Oh right, I came back this time to tell the high-level angels of the Angel Nebula to welcome King and Your Majesty. Your Majesty, this title isn't very respectful to us in the Angel Nebula. Angel Yen Angel looked at Angel Yu suspiciously. Who is qualified to be the king's man? She was deep in thought. Perhaps he really is qualified, she said. If it's really as Xiao Yu said, with a light tap of a finger, Xiao Yu can break through the genetic limit and reach the peak of the third godly body, this kind of existence is unimaginable. The godly body and the secondary creature engine were the highest technology of the angel civilization, but not every angel could be equipped with it. It also depended on the potential and experience of different angels, as well as their genes. Some angels could become high-level angels and develop the third-generation godly body, while others could only develop the second-generation godly body. They couldn't carry the potential of the void military at all. Angel Yu's evolution to the third-generation godly body was actually okay. It could be done after spending a certain amount of resources and using Heaven Cultivation King's knowledge to unlock the genetic code after a long time. But Angel Yu's was the peak of the third-generation godly body, which was equivalent to changing Angel Yu a lot. It increased the upper limit. Angels weren't ordinary life forms. Their genes were more complicated than humans or other life forms. How could it be easy? If it was so easy, they wouldn't have only developed the fourth-generation godly body. The holy body above the fourth-generation godly body had even harsher conditions. So far, only Holy Keisha and Heaven Cultivation King could reach it. Yen, go and prepare. Gather the high-level angels of the Angel Nebula and call many angel elders to come here to welcome the king and that king. She said slowly. You're serious? Angel Yen was slightly taken aback, but she immediately reacted. That's right. We'll know if it's real or fake once we try. I'm also curious. With Heaven Cultivation King's identity and personality, who can become his king? Among the high-level warriors, Angel Yen had the highest status as an angel warrior with the best qualifications and the longest battle experience. She used to be on the same level as Heaven Cultivation King and belonged to Holy Keisha's left and right wings. She was a warrior that Holy Keisha thought highly of. Angel Yen took a deep look at Angel Yu, then walked into the light door behind her. Xiao Yu, tell me, what happened to Tian Xiu King when he went to another universe? She walked to Angel Yu's side with a smile. That king? Who is he? Angel Yu thought for a moment. It's so complicated. Heaven Cultivation King. I can't explain it all in a short time. Idiot, you can share your memories with me. She said. This. Angel Yu nodded and touched her head in embarrassment. I forgot that I have this ability. If I knew, I would have shared my memories with Big Sister Yen. She looked at her and said, she doesn't believe that you're the real Angel Yu. She won't accept your sharing. Angel Yu stretched out her hand to He. She's eyes flashed with a faint light. Their palms met. In an instant, countless memory fragments gathered into a movie-like scene and appeared in She's mind. Her expression changed in an instant. P.S. Sorry, I forgot to update yesterday. Chapter 1747. Angel Yu's memory sharing only shared all the memories of going to another universe with Tian Xiu King. She felt it very vividly. A brand new world was different from the universe civilization here. This was not enough to surprise her because the civilization level of that world was not high. It was just a novelty. What surprised her was the life form that Tian Xiu King dealt with that looked similar to the Soul Demon. It was so powerful that even Tian Xiu King was helpless against it. That level of strength was a level that no life form in this universe could reach. Because of memory sharing, she could see all the scenes at that time. Angel Yu might not be able to understand what was going on, and she might not even be able to understand Heaven Cultivation King's battle. But she could understand. She could see that Tian Xiu King had exerted 100% of his combat power. Not to mention defeating him, he could barely hold on. Such a powerful life form is really terrifying. If it comes to this universe, it will be a devastating blow. She felt a sense of crisis in his heart. After some calculations, she found that the only way to defeat a life form of that level was to unite all the top forces in the universe and destroy it together. Other than that, there was no other way. There's such a powerful existence in the Dark Demon realm? Why didn't it appear in the previous galactic war? Because of the similarity in appearance and feeling, she thought that the other party was a soul demon from the dark demon realm. She suddenly thought of a problem. Now that Angel Yu had returned, Tian Xiu King had also returned. Then, the other party was defeated? Who is it? Who has this ability? Or has that world been destroyed? She's heart tightened as she continued to watch. In the following battle, Tian Xiu King and several female human experts joined forces to fight against the enemy, but they were still no match. At this time, she had vaguely guessed something. She did not let go of any details in the memory and watched very seriously. That was until a mysterious ancient bell descended and directly suppressed the powerful soul demon. What kind of weapon is this? Even void weapons can't suppress it instantly. Tian Xiu King inherited Keisha's king-level arsenal, which contains the top weapons of the entire angel civilization, but they can't hurt the other party. Moreover, Tian Xiu King's angelic holy sword contains unparalleled power. It's even more powerful than Keisha's most powerful weapon, the silver wings. Even so, it can't cause any effective damage, let alone suppress it. The ancient bell exuded an ancient and mysterious aura, as if it could suppress the heavens and the universe, giving she a strong sense of shock. It was a powerful weapon that was completely different from the weapons of this space civilization. She didn't even feel the slightest sense of technology from the ancient bell. Even the blazing sun heavenly path, which worshipped the immortal arts of the ancient civilization, had advanced technological power in their weapons, which seemed simple and unadorned. Suppressed. Next, it should be time for the owner of the weapon to appear. She thought to himself. Sure enough, it was just as she thought. In Angel Yu's memory, after the ancient bell appeared, an imposing figure descended from the sky. Holding an ancient black spear in his hand, he pierced the soul demon with the spear. In an instant, the cloud shadow exploded. Angel Yu's memory was completely blank. It could be seen how shocked she was at that time. He was so shocked that even his memory seemed to have stopped, so much so that she could not see the specific appearance of that figure clearly. Then, he fainted. Just like that, the memory paused. In fact, she was also unconscious before, but angels were different from other life forms. Even in a coma, her perception was still there. Moreover, the main target of the battle was not her. Although she was only knocked out by the aftermath of the battle, her perception was still there, recording what happened around her. Therefore, she could perceive the scene. In this way, she could roughly know what had happened when she woke up. However, from the descent of the ancient bell to the descent of the figure and killing the latter with a single spear, there were too many energy fluctuations. This girl didn't even have her perception, and her soul was also badly injured, so she fainted. There was a gap in her memory. This made she very curious. Who was the figure who held a long spear and killed the soul demon expert who had surpassed the limits of the universe with a single spear? Fortunately, the girl's memory did not stop. After all, her soul was only slightly shaken. Soon, she recovered. However, in the process of recovery, she found that the girl had a wet dream. However, the girl was unconscious at that time. But she felt it very vividly. It was not a wet dream at all. Instead, it was someone in the outside world who was having sexual intercourse, so the girl had hallucinations in her memory. Could it be? She's heart skipped a beat. He endured the discomfort and experienced the girl's wet dream. When Angel Yu regained her memory, she saw Tian Xiu Monarch and a man standing intimately together. As expected, Tian Xiu Monarch's man. I didn't expect him to be so powerful. She instantly understood. There was no need to listen to Tian Xiu Monarch's explanation to Angel Yu. Only a man who could defeat an expert of that level could subdue Tian Xiu Monarch. This made him finally understand a little. After calming down the shock in his heart, she continued to watch. Not long after, she saw a scene that she would never forget for the rest of her life. She had experienced countless eras, From the tens of thousands of years since the birth of the angel civilization, she had studied the secrets of genes and divine body technology for an unknown amount of time. In that scene, everything was overturned. Tianxiu monarch's man really tapped on Angel Yu's forehead with a finger. In an instant, she clearly felt that Angel Yu's life had changed directly. In 10 breaths, her divine body evolved from the 2nd generation to the peak of the 3rd generation. She could even feel that if this girl's starting point was not too low, she could have evolved directly to the 4th generation. This is too terrifying. What kind of method is that? She's heart trembled. Logically speaking, he had heard Angel Yu say in a daze that the king had upgraded her divine body with a single finger. She did not believe it at all. It was not that the upgrade of the divine body was fake, but that the other party had used some special method to upgrade Angel Yu's divine body. It was not like what Angel Yu thought, that it was over with a single finger. But now, the scene that existed in her memory, as well as the Angel Yu in front of her, made she feel suffocated. That feeling was as if their angel civilization had crushed the pre-nuclear era's blue planet with their civilization technology. They could easily do things that humans could not imagine, crushing civilization. And now, she felt that their angel civilization had also been crushed. It had been crushed by this mysterious man with a single finger. The 10 breaths of time that the divine body had upgraded seemed to have experienced the entire angel civilization. She finally felt why Angel Yu had more admiration and respect for that king than for Tianxiu monarch in the depths of her memory. With such terrifying power, not to mention strength, just the mysterious ability to easily promote a 2nd-generation godly body angel to a 4th-generation godly body was enough for any angel to worship him as a god. Chapter 1748. She didn't know how the other party did it. But she was sure of one thing: the other party was definitely an existence at the transcendent God level. The universe here had the concept of God. It was different from other universes. The God here referred to an intelligent life form that surpassed the understanding of technology of normal civilizations and reached an incomprehensible state. It was God. Surpassing God meant surpassing this state and transcending the universe. Only an existence at this level could she understand how the other party could so easily analyze the angel civilization and make the angels evolve. In the known universe, there was no such existence at this level. After sensing Angel Yu's memory, she fell into silence. Sky Foundation King, what's wrong? Angel Yu asked cautiously. The oldest existences of the angel civilization had always been the Sky Foundation King, whose expression would not change even if Mount Tai collapsed in front of them. In her memory, she did not have such an exaggerated expression. Shock, suspicion, silence, confusion. Finally, it returned to calmness. His expression was so wonderful that she thought that there was some bad record in her memory. She shook her head slightly. What do you think of His Majesty? When Angel Yu said this, her eyes lit up. It was the light of faith. She thought for a moment and said, He is worthy of King Tianxiu. He was more than worthy. She had a feeling that King Tianxiu was not worthy of the other party. Yes, His Majesty is really very powerful. Angel Yu's eyes lit up. She smiled. He did not blame this girl for her current appearance. If it were her, she might not be any better. Probing is unnecessary. She thought. She had asked Angel Yen to gather all the high-level angels and the angel elders. Such a grand scene was to test His Majesty. Otherwise, with so many high-level angels and angel elders here, when they saw a man beside King Tianxiu, their expressions would definitely change drastically. Then, they would target His Majesty and make all kinds of trouble. Now, it seemed that there was no need at all. Angel Yu's memory sharing allowed she to be 100% sure that His Majesty was too terrifying. He was not someone the angel civilization could fight against. After pondering for a moment, She already had a plan in her heart. After a while, a group of angels flew out from the light gate. Every single one of them was wearing exquisite silver armor. They all had perfect bodies and faces. Their faces were solemn and their expressions were ice-cold. They were all high-level warriors of the angel civilization. There were not many high-ranking warriors, but every one of them was the strongest in the angel nebula. There were also several angel elders. They were basically all elder angels from Keisha's generation. They were all very powerful. She. I heard that Heaven Cultivation Monarch has a man? What happened? An angel elder walked over and asked with a cold expression. The elder angel was very old, but in reality, his appearance didn't show any signs of aging. However, the aura emanating from his body was not something that other high-level angels could compare to. With Heaven Alchemy King's strength and status, who can be her man? An angel elder said coldly, "We don't object to King Tian Xiu wanting to find a man. I heard about this from Yen, but to obtain our recognition, even King Tian Xiu can't act recklessly. The title King does not exist in our angel civilization. No one is above the king. Let alone a man. We angels will never forget the example of Xian Yi of the Heavenly Palace Order. The Heavenly Palace Order was the government of the old era of the angel civilization. At that time, the angel civilization was dominated by male angels, and the status of female angels was extremely low. Moreover, the Heavenly Palace Order advocated that they were the center of power, and there were no rules or restrictions. As the highest authority of the Heavenly Palace Order, they could judge other civilizations at will. Naturally, although the current angel civilization did not reach the point of looking down on the men of other civilizations, the status of the men was not high. There was not even a single male angel inside, and almost all of them had been expelled. Angel Yen walked over and said to Shi, "We've finished gathering. We're just waiting for King Tian Xiu to return with that king." She glanced at the many high-level angel warriors behind her. Even King Tian Xiu couldn't act recklessly, right? However, she shook his head helplessly. No. No. Angel Yen looked at Shi in surprise. So many of them aren't enough? Unless we recall the high-level angels who are still on missions in other galaxies. But is that necessary? I didn't mean that when I said no. She glanced and said slowly, "That king is not someone we can deal with." Without waiting for Angel Yen to refute, she said in a deep voice, "All high-level angels, listen up. Enter my spiritual network immediately." Angels had a set of programs in their divine bodies that could allow the spirits of all the angels to be in the same area together, achieving real-time transmission. The premise was that the distance was not too far. "Xiao Yu, come in too. Immediately share part of your memories with the angels," she ordered. Angel Yu seemed to understand something and nodded. She did not want to offend that king. The other party was too strong. It was impossible for the angel civilization to fight against him. If they slightly provoked him later, she was not sure if the other party would directly pierce through the angel nebula with a flick of his finger. The angels were not sure what she wanted to do. However, they still had to listen to King Tian Xiu's orders. Angel Yen looked at Shi in confusion. "Shi, what are you trying to do?" the angel elder asked with a frown. "Xiao Yu has a shared memory. You'll know when you see it later," she said in a low voice. "That king is not someone we can offend." The angel elder looked at her suspiciously. Soon, the angels entered the same channel and began to share part of Angel Yu's memories. These memories were deleted by Shi. After all, some of them were related to King Tian Xiu's emotional privacy. It was not suitable for all the angels to know. The shared parts were all about that king. The angels watched the scenes in the memories very quickly, however. The more they looked, the more shocked they were. Countless exclamations and disbelief appeared in their spiritual network. This, an enemy that even our king can't defeat. Who is that soul demon? Is there such a powerful life form in our universe? Why didn't such a powerful soul demon appear in the galactic war? It's too scary. Oh my God, it was suppressed. Who is it? What is that ancient bell? Wait. It was destroyed. It was destroyed by that figure? How is that possible? Who is that? Could that be King Tianxiu's man? What? The evolution of the divine body is so simple? I'm not dreaming, am I? This can't be real, right? He can evolve the second-generation divine body to the peak of the third generation with a flick of his finger? That's too scary. Who is King Tianxiu's man? She listened with an expressionless face. Obviously, these angels were even more shocked than she was. They were even incoherent. It subverted all their knowledge. It was like a dimensionality reduction. Even those angel elders narrowed their eyes when they saw this. Their bodies started to tremble. As the ace among the high-level angels, Angel Yen was obviously much better. She glanced at her and saw that her hands were trembling non-stop. She knew that she was much worse than herself. Yen is still a little young. She thought. Not long after the memory sharing, the spiritual network became incomparably calm. Silence. A deathly silence. Chapter 1749. We're almost there. Wang Feng looked at the starry sky in the distance. What do you plan to do? Qian Renxue, who was sitting lazily on the throne, asked leisurely. I won't help you. What else can I do? Wang Feng pinched his chin and smiled. Since they're your people, I won't be stingy with them. I heard that your universe has a special celestial calculator called the Great Clock that can simulate the entire universe. It contains the top technology of various civilizations. For example, the technology of the fourth generation of godly bodies. The Great Clock has it. Qian Renxue was slightly stunned. She knew about the Great Clock. However, that thing was not in their hands now. To be precise, it was difficult for other civilizations to touch that special computing cloud. Because that thing was currently in the hands of the Nether River Civilization's death god, Karl. I can create a computing cloud that's even more powerful than the clock. Not only can it simulate this universe, but it can also surpass the civilizations of this universe, allowing you to understand a higher level of the universe's powers, Wang Feng said. My primordial chaos origins can easily do it. This way, your angel civilization can mass-produce 3 or 4 generations of godly bodies. Other than power, what you angels desire is your own belief. Most of the angels in the Angel Nebula are still under the Holy Kaisha's order of justice, right? However, they don't reject your dark order. Instead, they have an attitude of mutual integration. Qian Renxue pursed her lips and did not deny it. Power, huh? Belief, Wang Feng smiled. It's actually very simple. How about merging the righteous order and the dark order? What do you want to do? Qian Renxue asked again. I'm afraid that's very difficult. The merging of orders often requires a baptism of blood and tears. Now that the universe is peaceful, our Angel Nebula is the most powerful. It's very difficult to have any opportunities. It was not that easy to make the angels of the Angel Nebula believe in God. Just upgrading the godly body alone might not be enough. Qian Renxue even felt that those high-level angels and elders would probably make things difficult for Wang Feng when they saw him. You're right, Wang Feng said slowly. However, with me, I can use the special celestial calculator developed by the primordial origin to help angels upgrade their godly bodies. I can inject my will and divine power origin into it. After their bodies evolve, their minds and souls will sublimate. To put it simply, one's horizons would be broadened. Deal. Angels in this state will synchronize their faith and beliefs with mine. Speaking of this, Wang Feng paused. In the God system universe, this is called believer synchronization. No believer can go against the will of God. Qian Renxue was stunned. As long as they are willing to accept the power, this will slowly happen. However, you angels have a very high life level, and your combat power is also very strong. If I want them to become my followers, it will take some time. Wang Feng said. From Qian Rinshue's combat power, it could be seen that Angel Nebula's combat power was at the top of the universe. According to the division of the Divine System universe, if they were to become the dependents of the gods, they would be at least above the desolate species and below the holy species. They would be classified as heavenly species. Also, in your universe, some angels have a special power of destiny. If these angels can become my believers, they will be of great help to me. Wang Feng said. Qian Renshue looked at Wang Feng unkindly. What do you mean? Literally. Wang Feng couldn't help but laugh. Don't worry, I have no other intentions. Besides, with the pride of angels, there is an 80% chance that you will be very unfriendly to me, your king. I'm afraid those guardian angels around you will embarrass me later. There were many angels, so Wang Feng naturally wanted to take care of Qian Rinshue's guardian angels. After all, it was convenient to have Qian Rinshue as a connection. It's good that you know. Qian Rinshue walked to Wang Feng's side, as if she had sensed something. She laughed. What are you laughing at? It seems that all the high-level angels in Angel Nebula are here, as well as all the angel elders. Qian Rinshue pretended to be casual. I asked Xiao Yu to come back early. I asked the guardian angels to pick us up, but I didn't expect to attract most of the angels here. You did it on purpose, didn't you? Wang Feng was stunned, but he immediately reacted and shook his head helplessly. It was obvious that Qian Rinshue wanted to see how he would deal with it, or she wanted to see him make a fool of himself. With so many angels here, Wang Feng couldn't directly make all of them believe in an outsider like him. Normally, Qian Rinshue's guardian angels would spread the news to the entire Angel Nebula. This way, these angels would quickly become his believers. Now that all of them were here, it would take a lot of effort. He might not even succeed. After all, angels were extremely arrogant. There were no major disasters here, and it was a peaceful era. It was not easy to gain their faith in a short time. If they were already wary of their king, it would be even more difficult. It's none of my business. Qian Rinshue looked as if it had nothing to do with him. I just sent Xiao Yu back to report first. Who knew? That little angel of yours has been by your side for so many years. You still don't know her character? Wang Feng glared at Qian Rinshue. Qian Rinshue's eyes flashed with a hint of a smile. He was looking forward to seeing how Wang Feng would deal with these arrogant angels and those stubborn angel elders. What about the king? Just this title alone was a taboo. To think that this fellow actually thought of such a colorful way of addressing her. Wang Feng pondered. The Angel Nebula was getting closer and closer, but he didn't have many ideas in his mind. He guessed that he would be condemned and made difficult for. Wang Feng was not afraid. In just a moment, Wang Feng didn't need to sense. A white sea of angels appeared in his sight. They were densely packed and displayed in the starry sky. Wang Feng had seen many big scenes, so naturally, he wouldn't be affected. He was just thinking about how to deal with it to get the best result. The white angel warriors converged into a holy sea. It was calm and silent. But the more this situation was, the more arrogant these angel warriors were. They were not easy to deal with. There were too many of them. Wang Feng pondered. Qian Rinshue was also speechless. I didn't expect Xiao Yu to attract all the high-level angels. Even she is here. It seems that the title and identity of the king have stimulated them. Qian Rinshue couldn't help but worry about this scene. She stood up from her throne, and her aura underwent a drastic change. Her lazy demeanor instantly transformed into the regal and calm demeanor of a queen. Her eyes were filled with supreme authority as she scanned the group of angels. King! Angel Yu flew over and said proudly, "Look, they are all here to welcome you and the king." Chapter 1750. Qian Rinxue glared at her. Looking at these angels, they were all silent. It was obvious that they were waiting for something. They would most likely attack together later. Although she did want to make things more difficult for Wang Feng at first. After all, angels were her race, and these were her people. How could they believe in her man so casually? Wouldn't that prove that his people were all ordinary? Angels were arrogant, and Qian Rinxue was even more so as Tianxia monarch. Even if Wang Feng was her man, he came to the Angel Nebula with good intentions and wanted to obtain the power of faith. But if it was too easy to obtain, Qian Rinxue couldn't accept it. Absolutely not. However, Qian Rinxue didn't expect Angel Yu to be so reliable. She gathered all the high-level angels and elders. This wasn't just a simple increase in difficulty. She walked forward. Her voice was calm, but every angel could hear it clearly. Why do you need to make such a big scene? I just went out for a trip. Now that I'm back safe and sound, let's disperse. You elders don't usually come out of the gate of the Angel Nebula. Why are you in the mood to welcome me? Qian Rinxue wanted to disperse some of them. However, all the angels only bowed their heads and saluted respectfully. But none of them had the intention to leave. Qian Rinxue's heart skipped a beat. He knew that with the stubbornness of these angels, they wouldn't let the king go so easily. What do you mean? Qian Rinxue's voice became heavier. At this time, she flew up. Her face was still calm, and her eyes were shining with wisdom. She said, Tianxia monarch, shouldn't you introduce your king ? She went straight to the point. Qian Rinxue frowned slightly. She wasn't a high-level angel warrior. She was wise and experienced. It was impossible to fool her. Seeing this, Qian Rinxue could only look at Wang Feng behind him and say, since you already know, I won't waste time. His name is Wang Feng. He is my Heaven Cultivation King's man. She pointed at Wang Feng behind her with a domineering tone. As soon as he finished speaking, in an instant, all the angels present became restless. Wang Feng walked up and looked at the angels. His gaze fell on she, and his expression was calm as he nodded slightly. His eyes were filled with indifference, as if all these angels were not worth mentioning in his eyes. She's figure suddenly trembled when he saw this. Qian Rinxue poked Wang Feng's back. You should at least say something. Isn't the provocation in your eyes getting stronger? However, something unexpected happened to Qian Rinxue. The next moment, all the angels present subconsciously knelt on one knee and said in unison, Greetings, Your Majesty. The scene was extremely shocking for a moment, and it was much more exaggerated than when they bowed to Qian Rinxue. Qian Rinxue. Wang Feng. For a moment, Qian Rinxue's brain short-circuited. What was going on? Am I dreaming? This can't be real, right? Qian Rinxue's eyes were a little absent-minded. Did they all know Wang Feng? Or could it be that with just one sentence from him, they would all accept Wang Feng's identity as the king? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. There must be something wrong. Qian Rinxue was dumbfounded. She even wondered if she was a fake Heaven Cultivation King. Wang Feng was the real king of the Angel Nebula. How could this be? Moreover, Qian Rinxue could see the respect and awe in the eyes of these high-level angel warriors. Wang Feng was not as dumbfounded as Qian Rinxue. His expression still did not change much, as if this situation could not arouse any emotion in him. He seemed to know everything. However, Wang Fengxin did not quite understand. You know me? Wang Feng said indifferently as he glanced at the angels. She looked at him and thought, as expected, he was a supreme being who had surpassed this universe. A mere angel civilization was probably not worth mentioning in his eyes. Together, all the high-level angels present could sweep through almost the entire universe. With the current strength of the Angel Nebula, this was definitely not a lie. However, in front of him, it was as if they did not exist. The power he possessed was too terrifying. She did not know how Heaven Cultivation King could become partners with someone of this level. "We know," she said respectfully, "we have seen you and Heaven Cultivation King through Angel Yu's memory sharing. We also witnessed everything." Hearing this, Qian Renxue was enlightened. So that was it. She knew about the memory sharing, but she did not think about it. Moreover, Angel Yu was unconscious at that time. Qian Renxue originally thought that this girl's memory did not contain the scene of Wang Feng and Mo Tian's fighting. "It is Heaven Cultivation King's honor to be favored by you," she continued. Qian Renxue was speechless. Qian Renxue looked a little embarrassed and unhappy. Combining the memories of seeing Angel Yu, she saw Wang Feng's strength and ability. This changed immediately? Qian Renxue thought about it carefully and was suddenly stunned. It seemed to be true. What was Wang Feng's current strength? How could she not see it? The entire universe combined was not enough to fight Wang Feng. If Wang Feng wanted to, he could even destroy this universe directly. Therefore, in she and the others' hearts, Wang Feng was probably an extremely dangerous existence. Moreover, with the civilization of the Angel Nebula, they did not even have the ability to resist. It was just that her relationship with Wang Feng made her image of Wang Feng as her man in her heart. Therefore, her intuition was not like she and the others. Wang Feng also understood. He could not help but sigh. The civilization of gods in the God System universe was much more developed. In that civilization, the gods would not easily descend into the world. However, once they descend, they must maintain a high level of respect, maintain the demeanor of a god, and make people revere them. They must not show any emotions. Because gods must be high and mighty, holding the lifeline of all life in the universe. Therefore, Wang Feng had such an expression just now. This was actually not in line with Wang Feng's personality and style. However, one had to admit that the God System universe was something. Forgive me for being blunt. You followed King Tianxiu to our Angel Nebula. At this point, she glanced at Wang Feng. This super-god-level existence looked imposing. In the form of a normal human, he had a more perfect appearance and figure than an angel. Even the pickiest angel would not be able to find a trace of flaw. This was a sign that the body had evolved to an extremely high level. The engine scan was also empty. It could not sense anything. She had a guess. The other party could easily evolve the divine body of an angel, and he was King Tianxiu's man. He must have come to the Angel Nebula to change the angel civilization, if the other party was willing, just strolling around. Wang Feng replied indifferently. This is not her home planet, but the universe where she made her fortune. Naturally, I have to come and take a look. Qian Renxue was a little confused. This guy was just going to take a look? Her heart skipped a beat. She seemed to have understood something. We are all the people of King Tianxiu. You have bestowed such great power to Angel Yu. Did you come here to bestow such great power to us? An angel elder said respectfully. Give you strength. However, Wang Feng raised his eyebrows slightly. It was such an action, but it exuded extreme indifference. His voice was incomparably calm. Why? Just because you are her people? His words seemed to have rejected the elder angel's claim. Chapter 1751. After Wang Feng finished speaking, he closed his eyes and didn't say anything else. The angel elder's expression was dazed for a moment, and there was some disappointment in his eyes. It disappeared in a flash. Wang Feng still noticed it. In fact, it wasn't just this angel elder. When the angel elder asked this question, the other high-level angels had some desire and curiosity in their eyes. Obviously, they yearned for power. Then why did you give it to Xiao Yu? A high-ranking angel muttered. But before he finished speaking, he was interrupted by his companion next to him. Seeing this, she immediately said, Why don't you return to the Angel Nebula first? You are Tian Xiu King's partner, so you should tell the whole race and other civilizations. In fact, according to the convention of the angel civilization, a special ceremony needed to be held. However, that was only under normal circumstances. If Tian Xiu King's partner was only a partner who was about the same or weaker than her, then this ceremony had to be held with Tian Xiu King as the center. But who would have thought that this king was much stronger than Tian Xiu King, and he didn't even care about the entire universe. Whether this ceremony was held or not depended on what he said. Wang Feng walked back to Qian Renshue's throne. The high-level angels in front of him formed 2 rows, forming a passage like a parade. They respectfully welcomed Qian Renshue's throne and entered the angel nebula. Are you playing hard to get? Qian Renshue transmitted to Wang Feng. Not really, but if I want to get the faith of these angels, just bestowing power is not enough. Besides, there's no free lunch in the world. If I help them upgrade their godly bodies, they might not believe in me. I still need an opportunity, Wang Feng replied. What opportunity? Qian Renshu asked. Wang Feng pondered for a moment and said, an opportunity to show how strong your man is. Or an opportunity to help them upgrade their godly bodies. If not, I won't force it. I've already accumulated a lot of faith power in the Douluo world. If I can't get it here, the last true body of faith will condense later. This would actually affect the God War in the God System universe. After all, 100 days wasn't a lot of time. Compared to the angels of the Angel Nebula, the Dark Angels of the Light and Dark Alliance are stronger. Their reverence for power far exceeds that of the angels in the Angel Nebula, but their numbers can't compare, Qian Renshue said. If you can upgrade their divine bodies, they will definitely worship you. Dark Angel. Wang Feng was slightly taken aback. It's difficult for other civilizations. The fiery sun heavenly path had its own belief. It was impossible to change the beliefs of those stubborn fellows and change the God they believed in. Although, in your eyes, the fiery sun sky path's God cannot be considered a god. Qian Renshue said seriously. In addition, there are many civilized planets from the pre-nuclear era in our light-dark cosmic alliance. Wang Feng pondered. He walked through the gate of the Angel Nebula. His surroundings suddenly opened up, and it was no longer the boundless universe. That door of light should be a wormhole technology that could directly enter another nebula. The number of angels was actually very large. It was far more than Wang Feng had imagined. Just the number of high-level angels alone was innumerable. After entering the nebula, Yi Zichen was stunned. He could see many planets emitting the aura of life, arranged in this nebula. There were also many stars emitting rich energy, radiating the entire Angel Nebula. Tian Xiu King was naturally on the main planet of the Angel Nebula. This planet's life aura was the richest and the largest. After passing through the door of light, he passed through several checkpoints inside the nebula. Each checkpoint was heavily guarded by angel warriors. When he finally arrived on this main planet, Wang Feng couldn't help but sigh. The civilization level of the Angel Nebula was much higher than that of the Douluo world. Any random angel warrior here could easily beat up a titled Douluo of the Douluo world. Wang Feng rose to fame in the Douluo world, but he relied on the primal chaos green lotus, Pangu Axe, the primordial origin, and the origin tribulation divine king's origin. It would be better to say that Wang Feng inherited the power of the former chaos world. Isn't it beautiful here? Qian Renshue looked at the city in front of him. This main city was more exquisite and huge than the king city of the Douluo divine world. Moreover, it was snow-white, and many of the buildings were filled with a sense of technology, but they didn't lose their elegance and elegance. It looked like a fantasy city that didn't exist in reality. Many angels could be seen flapping their wings in the sky, elegantly shuttling through the city, flying at low altitudes. It was hard to find fault with their bearing and appearance. Not bad. Wang Feng nodded. Compared to the atmosphere and style of the dark demon world, This place was more dark. This place was heaven. The palace where Qianrenxue was located was even more beautiful, but it wasn't luxurious. It was more of an architectural style that symbolized the majesty and power of the angel civilization. By the way, what do you think about the ceremony? Qianrenxue stood on the rooftop of the palace and asked, "Why don't we do it? Recently, I have a vague feeling that Keisha's sister, the queen of the demon civilization, is fiddling with something. The Tao Tai on the Nether River civilization's side is restless again. After the Galactic War, these two fellows were afraid of my power for a while, so they stopped causing trouble. But that Carl has the big clock, and he himself has turned into the void, immortal and indestructible in this universe. You want to use this to lure them over?" Wang Feng said. "Yes, I'll give you a chance to show off." Qianrenxue's mouth curved up. Wang Feng was stunned. At this moment, the clone in the heavenly realm suddenly sensed a special message from Yan Qingjue. To be precise, it was from the Crimson Divine Fox Emperor. Interesting. After receiving this information, Wang Feng's eyes flashed with a faint light. "What's wrong?" "Nothing. In that case, let's do it," Wang Feng replied. "That's more like it." Qianrenxue nodded with satisfaction. In other places, she didn't care. But in this universe, Wang Feng was her man. Whether as a woman or a heaven cultivation king, she had her own selfish motive. Ceremony. The ceremony of the angel civilization naturally wouldn't be an ordinary ceremony. In the era of Holy Keisha, the angel civilization didn't interfere too much with other civilizations, and the ceremony was an important internal matter. But since the Galactic War, many civilizations united and formed the Light and Dark Universe Alliance. As the other civilizations in the alliance, they naturally had to participate in the ceremony of the angel civilization. Otherwise, if there was a heaven cultivation king descending, and no one recognized her, it would be a joke. When Holy Keisha first descended on the blue planet that hadn't entered the scope of the universe was basically unknown. It was very awkward. Chapter 1752. It's going to be held? She confirmed with Qianrenxue. That's right. Not only will it be held, but we will also invite various civilizations to participate. Qianrenxue smiled and said, "In addition to the many allies in the Light-Dark Universe Alliance, we will also invite Death God Carl from the Styx Galaxy and Cold Queen from the Devil Galaxy." A question mark appeared in Heishi's mind. It was normal for allies to participate. What did he mean by inviting opponents to participate? Carl and Cold Queen are not easy to deal with. She reminded her. She paused for a moment before continuing, "Don't tell me you've forgotten how Keisha," speaking up to here, she paused for a moment, his eyes carrying some sadness. "Back then, Holy Keisha was schemed against by these two guys and died helplessly." "It's okay." Qianrenxue waved his hand. She thought about it. "Even if your king is very strong, it's always good to be cautious." "Okay, then I will go and prepare." She pondered for a few seconds and nodded. "Speaking of which, that girl, Xiao Yu, is really lucky. She somehow upgraded from the second generation to the peak of the third generation. Now that she is back, many high-level angel warriors are no match for her. Of those guards around you, perhaps only Yan Ning can fight with Xiao Yu. As for the rest," she smiled. He probably thought it was ridiculous. A little angel who had not fallen for 1,000 years could reach such a height. "By the way, can I ask one more question?" She said. "What is it?" "That king, why did he upgrade Xiao Yu's divine body?" She asked. "Didn't you share your memories with Xiao Yu?" Qianrenxue asked. "He just did it casually. Xiao Yu was the only one with me back then." She fell silent. Then he walked down silently. Along with the news from the Angel Nebula, the entire universe was in an uproar. Blazing sun, heavenly path; cloud, heavenly court. Tianxiu monarch's man? With Tian Xiu Monarch's personality, how can any man catch his eye? Angel Maple from back then and Tian Xiu Monarch now, I still remember clearly. It was a burly man in ancient armor who looked like a general. Hearing this news, he could not help but laugh out loud. Heaven Cultivation King succeeded Holy Keisha, and her strength is even stronger than Holy Keisha's. However, her personality is completely different from Holy Keisha's. This can be seen from the fact that she created the Dark Order and walked out of the Angel Nebula to establish the Light and Dark Universe Alliance. General Pan, I really didn't expect that she would have a man. A handsome man who looked like a deputy general had an expression of disbelief and jealousy. Pan Zhen patted this man's shoulder and said, "A man able to become a Heaven Alchemy King, this definitely isn't simple. I advise you not to be delusional. Think about it, the Angel Nebula is now a female-led civilization. The Queen's man must be extraordinary." This subordinate knows. The Deputy General sighed. "It's just that I didn't expect that someone as arrogant as Heaven Cultivation King would also find a man. Didn't Angel say that she wouldn't feel anything even after 10,000 years of abstinence? Looking for a man is not necessarily related to desire. It could also be related to power," Pan Zhen said. After the Galactic War, the development of the angel civilization had actually stagnated. It's not just them. Our fiery sun heavenly path is the same. Pan Zhen walked out of the heavenly court and looked at the distant sky. A hint of confusion flashed across his eyes. Stagnated? The Deputy General didn't understand. Rena is the sun god's descendant. She should have inherited the godhood and led our fiery sun planet to become stronger. But after the Galactic War, I've been thinking all these years, Pan Zhen muttered. What's the end of our road? The Deputy General's body shook as he looked at Pan Zhen in disbelief. Blue planet. At a certain mountain peak, in a villa. This is how it is. The Angel Nebula has invited us to attend the ceremony. Great Sage, you're a warrior who fought alongside the Angel civilization in the Galactic War. We plan to send you and the Super Godly team over. On the screen, a man in military uniform said with a serious expression. Did I hear wrongly? Douluo ceremony? What ceremony? Goku was wearing casual clothes. He was stunned for a while before he scratched the monkey hair beside his cheek and asked, "Say that again?" The Angel Nebula has invited us to attend the ceremony. It's the ceremony of Heaven Cultivation King and her king. So he's Heaven Cultivation King's man? Goku asked to confirm. You can think of it that way. Whoa! Goku jumped up. Those angels can find men? And Heaven Cultivation King? TSK, this is also you. If someone else told me this, I wouldn't believe it even if you beat me to death. Whether you believe it or not, you have to go. After all, we're allies now. The angel civilization has helped us a lot over the years, Douluo said. That's what we should do. We have to go. Goku waved his hand. He immediately changed into a pitch-black armor. No, Douluo. This armor is a bit old. Give me a new one. The new one is still being developed, and it's not as functional as your old one. That's fine. It's a ceremony. According to the customs there, we can't go with an old outfit, right? It's not suitable. Douluo was silent for a while before he said in a low voice, I heard that the Angel Nebula has also sent invitations to the Nether River star system and the demons. Are you sure? Not only the demons might be there, but there might also be Tao Tai. Then forget it. Goku was stunned for a while before a glimmer flashed across his eyes. Let's wear this. Tell Guxiaoluan and the others. Get everything ready for me. I'm afraid this isn't a simple ceremony, demon message. Cold Chill held a glass of red wine and looked at the many demons below the sky tower. Yaktos, is there a reply from that person? Cold Chill suddenly asked behind her. Honorable Queen, there's no reply yet. In the void, a crimson demon with a pair of wings appeared. This demon also carried a huge sword on his back. His appearance was very unique. F***ck. Cold chill curse. I knew it. There's no such good thing in the world. How dare you lie to me? You can let us demons surpass the angels. Now, at the Angel Nebula, that bitch Keisha is finally gone. Now, there's Tianxiu Monarch. How can we have a chance to stand out? Forget it. That person didn't reply, but I received a message from the Angel Nebula. Queen, do you want to hear it? Tell me about it. They invited us to attend a ceremony. The ceremony of Tianxiu Monarch and her man. Cold Chill was stunned. She spat out the red wine she just drank, as if she heard something unbelievable. Man? When Holy Keisha was still around, there wasn't a single male creature in the entire universe who could be her man. Not to mention being her man, there weren't many who could enter her eyes. Demon Queen Cold Chill pinched her chin. Now, this Tianxiu Monarch who's even stronger than Keisha is actually looking for a man. Interesting, interesting. She even invited us. That's even more interesting. Then, are we going? Go your ass. Cold Chill glared at Yaktos. This is obviously AF** king trap. Wouldn't I be courting death if I went there? Not going. Chapter 1753. Demon Queen Lingbing snorted and drank the red wine that was as red as blood in one gulp. Tian Xiuwang's strength is even stronger than Keisha's by a notch. A man that can make her fancy him is definitely not ordinary. Lingbing smiled coldly. Men have a very low status in the Angel Nebula. Tian Xiuwang held this ceremony to announce to the universe and invited us opponent. I'm afraid it's to let her man show his power and give him a high status in the Angel Nebula. Angels are also women. I'm also a woman. Even if she's an angel and I'm a demon. But this queen also understands women's thoughts. Yaktos felt that the queen's thoughts were very strange but also very reasonable. Then if we don't go? Yaktos thought for a while. Isn't it telling them that we demons are already afraid of their angels? Queen, I think you're wise. You can see through Tian Xiuwang's thoughts, but you shouldn't not go. Moreover, no matter how powerful Tian Xiuwang's man is, he can't be stronger than Tian Xiuwang, right? I don't believe he can deal with us. Also, Tian Xiuwang invited Carl. If you and Carl work together, Tian Xiuwang won't dare to fight force with force. Could it be that he's afraid of a man? Yaktos raised the long sword on his back. If it doesn't work, Queen, I'll take the elites of my race. It's good to go for a while. Lung Bing smiled. Don't worry. That person hasn't replied yet. Queen, didn't you say he lied to us? Just angry words. Lung Bing stretched. He didn't lie to us. He's waiting for us. Is the altar ready? The altar was built long ago, but we haven't found a suitable sacrifice. Yaktos shook his head. Lingbing pondered for a moment and said, Let's go. Let's go to the altar. As soon as she finished speaking, her figure suddenly disappeared on the spot. Yaktos hurried to follow. When they reappeared, they were already in the starry sky of the Demon Nebula. There is a sacrifice. Lingbing pinched her round chin and flapped the black demon wings on her back, looking at the starry sky ahead. Where is it? Yaktos asked. In front. Lingbing pouted. In front? Yaktos took a look, and his bell-sized eyes immediately shrank. It was a star. Stars were very special energy planets that emitted intense energy at all times. In the nebula, there were many stars, but there were not many that could be exploited. Try sacrificing this thing to that god, Cold Chill said slowly. That god has transcended our universe and is naturally stronger than us. If it can really make the demons surpass those angels, it will be worth it. But this is the star of our nebula, Jaquitos said in a low voice. With one less, our warriors and technology will lack energy. The progress of development would definitely slow down. If that self-proclaimed god is a fake, wouldn't it be a waste of effort? I don't think so, Lingbing said, Just now, Carl suddenly sent a secret message. He told me that the gods sent down a miracle and gave his Tautai warriors immortal and indestructible bodies. Even void weapons can't kill it directly. Even after it's killed, it can be quickly reconstructed. This, Yakdos was slightly taken aback. This is the level of a fourth-generation divine body, right? Is it that godly? No, it's not a divine body. It's a special power, Cold Chill said in a low voice. Those Tautai warriors don't have the power of a fourth-generation divine body. They only have the characteristic of being immortal and indestructible. In other words, the power of our universe can't kill them. Yakdos sucked in a cold breath. Currently, only Keisha's divine body and Carl's illusory body were known to have this characteristic. Although those Tautai warriors didn't become much stronger, they were immortal and indestructible. It meant that their combat power would never disappear. Carl couldn't analyze this special power even with the big clock. It can only mean that the god's universe is superior to ours. Or that God's civilization is too advanced, Cold Chill said. Lungbing said, also, Carl seems to have gained some abilities. What do you mean? Yakdo's heart pounded. Carl's body turned into the void and became an illusory body, Carl. Cold Chill said slowly. This guy even abandoned his body. He did manage to coexist with the universe. Back then, his combat power was inferior to Holy Keisha's. Of course, the things he invented were very powerful. However, he didn't have much combat power. He wasn't good at these things. That God seemed to have given him a special body. Does Carl need a body? Yakdos was puzzled. If he wants, it shouldn't be difficult for him to create a fourth-generation divine body, right? What does a body have? Carl naturally doesn't care about ordinary divine bodies, Cold Chill said. But after Carl became an illusory body, he couldn't have a physical body. In other words, he could create a fourth-generation divine body, but he couldn't possess it. He couldn't use the power of the divine body, or he would lose his illusory body. He wouldn't be invincible. An illusory body was a spiritual body that had merged with the void. No weapon in the known universe could cause any harm to it. The only thing that could hurt it was to analyze it and rewrite it from the universe's rules. For example, turning it into a tortoise and turning it into a physical body. However, it was unrealistic for the entire universe to do this. Even the big clock couldn't calculate the void completely. Carl, who had merged with the void, couldn't calculate it. It was just a possibility. So, in this universe, Carl was indeed invincible. Let's not talk about how strong this divine body is, but it can withstand Carl's illusory body. This means that he can equip himself with a powerful engine, and his combat power will soar. Keisha won't be his match even if she reincarnated. Whether Tianxia Monarch can defeat him or not depends on the strength of that divine body. Cold Chill said slowly. Then what did Carl pay? 3 stars as an offering. Cold Chill pointed at the stars in front of them. That god is quite generous. So, I want to try it now. Otherwise, this kind of payment first and then settling the bill isn't my style. With that, she waved her hand. Pillars of light flickered around the star, and a mysterious array began to converge below the pillars of light. A moment later, the stars flickered, turned into endless light, and disappeared. Almost at the same time, a majestic figure appeared in the starry sky like specks of starlight, infinitely large. It seemed to fill the entire starry sky, but it was illusory and not physical. I've received the offering. I now bestow upon you a God-suppressing whip. With this item, you can kill billions of lives here and enlighten the divine body of an evil demon. It has many profound uses. The majestic figure emitted an ancient voice. In the starry sky, Ling Bing and Yak Toth's hearts trembled. When the figure disappeared, Cold Chill took a deep breath and said in a low voice, "No wonder Carl believed it. This god isn't a life form of our universe. Just his aura alone is too strong. Chapter 1754. However, it's still trustworthy. I like it. After the light faded, a divine whip appeared where the star had disappeared. In the vast starry sky, it was still emitting a dazzling light. It's a weapon. Ling Bing gently grasped the whip made of an unknown material. Queen, this whip suits your temperament very well, said Yaktos. Liang Bing didn't speak. Instead, she felt the mystery and power contained in the whip. Unfortunately, with the engine in her body, even if she activated the most powerful celestial computer of the demon civilization, it was difficult to analyze the material of the whip. She could only vaguely feel that the whip contained a special power. It was the power of the void. It was also some kind of stronger technological structure. As she held it, this power entered her divine body and underwent some kind of transformation. With this thing, a smile appeared on Liang Bing's face. This queen can't miss the Angel Nebula's ceremony. Angel Nebula. Your Majesty, what are you doing? Tomorrow was the ceremony. Angel Yu followed Wang Feng. She originally planned to let the king change into the Angel Nebula's men's clothes. But thinking about it, with the king's status, how could he change into the Angel Nebula's men's clothes? Most of the male angels in the Angel Nebula were expelled. Their clothes were not good enough. Now she wanted to ask the king's opinion. However, since the king came to the Angel Nebula, he had been in the house and rarely appeared. Especially now, the king was holding a cloud of light in his hand. It was like a cloud, like a fog, but not a fog. Changed constantly. What's the matter? Wang Feng asked without blinking. Well, the ceremony needs you to change your clothes. But I don't think the Angel Nebula's men's clothes are good enough for you. Angel Yu whispered. The king asked me to come over and ask you what you think. Isn't my outfit good? Wang Feng said. As soon as he finished speaking, he asked, Is there anything symbolic in the Angel Nebula? Symbolic? Angel Yu tilted her head and thought for a moment. The angel sword? Even the king's throne looks like a sword. What about the others? Others? Angel Yu thought for a moment. When Queen Keisha was still alive, the cross sword symbolized justice and order. Now that King Tianxiu has the dark angel, the symbol of the angel has become the black cross sword. Wang Feng. Oh, there's one more. Angel Yu suddenly said. Heaven Xiao King likes a special kind of flower. Originally, I wanted to use it as a symbol of the angels, but I couldn't win against the stubbornness of our angel elders, so I didn't change it. Flower. Wang Fengxin's heart stirred. He thought of the snow epiphyllum that he and Qian Rinxue had created in the ancestral realm. There was also a special meaning attached to it. Snow epiphyllum then. Wang Feng's palm moved slightly and a special light flashed in his eyes. The light mist in his palm began to change rapidly. It turned into a strange flower. What is this? Angel Yu looked at the flower in Wang Feng's palm. Wang Feng smiled faintly. This is your Heavenly Cultivation King's Divine Knowledge Vault. But now I've modified it. Angel Yu opened her mouth wide. The Divine Knowledge Vault was the most powerful celestial computer of the angels. It contained all the cutting-edge technology of the angel civilization. Angel Yu was well aware of this. Usually, only the Angel King was in charge of it. Yu. Angel Yu's voice trembled. Don't worry. Wang Feng said slowly. I've just strengthened it a little. Come here. Angel Yu walked over. Put your hand on it. Angel Yu obediently put her hand on the flower. In an instant, countless symbols floated out from the inside of the flower and surrounded Angel Yu's body. It turned into a pillar of light. It was like the evolution in Digimon. Angel Yu felt as if something had been opened in her divine body. Waves of powerful energy and will continuously surged out from within the flower. She felt as if her brain was operating rapidly. Fourth generation divine body? She, who had just walked out of the room, was slightly stunned. He sensed a special aura. Good Lord, Heaven Xiao King asked Xiao Yu, that girl, to ask His Majesty. How did her divine body evolve again in the blink of an eye? The peak of the third generation was only a millimeter away from the fourth generation. However, this small gap was the key to the super genetic code technology. It wasn't that easy. So far, other than he, she, and Heaven Xiao King, there weren't many in the entire Angel Nebula who had truly reached the fourth generation divine body. Even those angel elders were at most at the peak of the third generation divine body. One had to know that every angel's genetic secret was different. He, she, who had the sacred knowledge treasury and was already the developer of the sacred knowledge treasury, was qualified to be developed to the fourth generation level. He, she opened the door and watched quietly. It wasn't considered peeping. She was looking openly. That king didn't seem to mind. That flower is Heaven Xiao King's sacred knowledge treasury. His heart is really big. He can even give such an important thing to him directly. She couldn't help but say this in her heart. But just as she finished speaking, she shut up. He strengthened the sacred knowledge treasury. No, he recast it. She took a deep breath. He analyzed the technology of the angel civilization. When she looked at the latter with a complicated expression. He just came yesterday. At that time, Heaven Xiao King still had the sacred knowledge treasury on him. How long had it been? He left it here as if it was just for fun and recast it. Furthermore, she could clearly sense that within that flower, it contained an extremely powerful power. She thought of the big clock of the God River civilization. That thing was claimed to be able to deduce the entire universe. Later, it was obtained by Carl. Carl saw the end of the universe through the big clock, assimilated with the void, and became an illusory body, almost invincible. Even Keisha couldn't do anything to it. Later, it was tricked by the big clock Carl and Cold Ice. In the end, it was disintegrated by the big clock, turned into countless sacred atoms, and scattered everywhere in the universe. It would take hundreds of millions of years for it to be resurrected. It was equivalent to death. That big clock had such a powerful force. She had never seen what the big clock looked like. But she felt that the flower in the king's hand might be even more terrifying than the big clock. I didn't prepare a gift for coming to your angel nebula. Wang Feng pondered. So, King, is this the gift you gave us? Angel Yu asked excitedly. I've become stronger again. No, this isn't it. Wang Feng shook his head slightly. She was stunned. If this wasn't a gift, then what was it? Then, she secretly shook her head. He probably couldn't return such a powerful thing to the Angel Nebula. This thing originally belonged to your Angel Nebula. Wang Feng said lightly. It belongs to your Heaven Xiao King. Naturally, it can't be considered a gift. She. Then what is the gift? Angel Yu asked. Heaven Xiao King. Wang Feng casually spat out 3 words. Hearing these 3 words, Angel Yu was stunned. She didn't react. She reacted, and her pupils contracted violently. Chapter 1755. Angel Nebula, Main Planet. Ceremony Day. For the angels, this ceremony was different from the coronation of a king. But compared to the coronation of a king, today's ceremony was much grander. Many civilizations that joined the Light and Dark Universe Alliance could not understand. Heaven Cultivation, King of the Angel Nebula, another legend after Kesha. Why would such a grand ceremony be held? And it was all because of a man. The main planet of the Angel Nebula, this place looks much more comfortable than the blue planet. Several figures descended from the sky. They passed through the gate outside the Angel Nebula and arrived at the main planet. The leader had a monkey-like face and a thunderous mouth. He was Sun Wukong, the guardian of the cerulean planet. Beside him, there were several men and women. These men and women were the super warriors of the blue planet with super genes. They had the power to dominate the universe, although they were just ordinary people when they were alive. But after awakening super genes, it meant that they had stepped into a whole new realm. Oh my God, why do I feel like I'll pollute the air in this place if I breathe? A tall and muscular man scratched his head as he looked down at the snowy city below. Lu Chuang, you're called the war god of planet Nu. Can you not be so tacky? So embarrassing. Beside the tall and strong man, a skinny man who looked like a loser laughed and scolded. Zhao Xian, before you say that, you should at least look at yourself. Besides, my title has nothing to do with whether I'm tacky or not. Lu Chuang laughed and did not think much of it. The few of them argued and joked. Are you the super warriors of the Blue Planet Divine College? At this moment, an angel flew up and said with a smile, the ceremony is about to begin. Please follow me. Wait. Sun Wukong suddenly stopped this angel and said, I heard that the Angel Nebula invited the Taotai and demons of the Nether River civilization. Are they here yet? Not to mention the demons, the Taotai had once invaded the Blue Planet. Several large cities on the Blue Planet were destroyed and rebuilt later. Naturally, the Taotai from the Nether River civilization was not friendly to the Taotai from the Blue Planet. Great Sage Sun, don't worry. The angel warrior smiled. They won't dare to come. Taking a step back, it would be perfect if they came. Is the Angel Nebula that confident? Goku asked. You invited your opponent to your hometown? I remember that there was an internal strife in the Angel Nebula. I think someone called Xian Yi tried his best to break the door outside the Angel Nebula. They were all stopped by you. Now, you even want to invite your former opponents in. This ceremony is really strange. The angel warrior smiled but did not reply. Who is your king? At this moment, a woman with a voluptuous figure and an exquisite face walked out from beside Goku. She was wearing a sexy black battle dress. He asked. Her words carried a special aura, and her temperament was especially special. She exuded a faintly discernible aura of a leader. One look and one could tell that he was no ordinary person. Naturally, the angel warrior paused. Men. You angels look for men. The woman smiled. Goddess Rina, you must be joking. You're the future king of the sun heavenly path, but you'll have men in the future, the angel warrior said seriously. Why can't we have men? Before the Galactic War, the Taotai army attacked your cerulean planet. We angels went to save you, and a few of the angels developed feelings for your cerulean planet warriors. But they were all sacrificed. But that's your Tian Shio monarch. Rina pouted. Tian Shio monarch looking for your man, in the eyes of a goddess, is as rare as this monkey looking for a female monkey. Rina, what do you mean? Goku snorted. Do you want to fight again? Tian Shio monarch looking for a man has nothing to do with you. Both of you, let's not fight. Oh right, Goddess Rina, General Pan from your sun planet is here. The angel warrior immediately changed the topic. He said that if you're here, I'll bring you to him first. He has something to say to you. I'm not going. Rina stretched. I'm now a super warrior of the cerulean planet, a member of the Divine College. Sun Planet's Rina has already gotten off work. I still have to take a good look at Tian Shio Monarch's man later. After saying that, she left first. The angel warrior had no choice but to follow. Goku shook his head. The location of the ceremony was in the circular plaza of the Angel City. Generally speaking, it should be in the palace. But Tian Shio Monarch changed the location of the ceremony to somewhere else. This angel warrior brought Goku and the rest to land in the main city. Suddenly, the angel warrior's body shook, as if he sensed something. He was stunned on the spot. Little angel, why aren't you moving? Lu Chuang suddenly asked. No, nothing. The angel warrior said softly. Goku and the rest exchanged glances, not knowing what this little angel was doing. Luckily, this angel warrior recovered quickly and immediately brought them to the plaza where the ceremony was held. The etiquette of angels was different from humans. Many people are here. Rina was a little excited. Look, that's the Light and Dark Universe Alliance, the westernmost sky devil civilization. Goku, your relatives might be there. Sky Devil civilization is located in the westernmost part of the universe. When the civilization was born, they were all the same species as you. Their Sky Devil civilization is also very powerful. With that, Rena pointed to another location. Over there, over there. TSK, that's the Northern Science civilization in the north of the universe. Their political system is somewhat similar to our scorching sun heavenly Tao. Both of them are more conservative. I heard that they were able to join the alliance because Heavenly Cultivation King was there. He helped them fight a few cosmic rifts and resolved their survival crisis. They joined later. There's also the Kanglan civilization. Kanglan civilization is a civilization quite similar to your blue planet, but they advocate martial arts. Their cultivation method and science are two completely opposite paths, but they are still very powerful. They belong to the category of ancient methods. They are all allies of the Light and Dark Universe Alliance. Basically, everyone is here. Rena looked around. In a very inconspicuous location, she saw a warrior from Sun Planet. Sister Rena, isn't that your hometown's General Pan? Zhao Exan winked. Aren't you going to say hello? Rena waved her hand and glared at Zhao Exan. Are you itching for a beating? Chapter 1756. Don't you think that this ceremony is a bit strange? A young man who had been silent suddenly said. His name was Gu Xiaoluan, and he was also from the Divine College. The Divine College of the Blue Planet had 3 god-making projects. According to the super genes they awakened, they were called the Galaxy Power, the Norian God of War, and the Light of the Sun. In fact, it was not the Blue Planet that initiated this god-making project. It was another civilization that had been destroyed or disappeared. The Divine River Civilization. The original purpose was to deal with the crisis of civilization. As the 3 protagonists of the God-making project, the 3 together had the power to rival the top of the universe. Those are the protagonists in the original work, right? Wang Feng, who was on the windowsill of the palace in the main city, looked at Goku and the others in the square, and narrowed her eyes. Are they the ones you said have the power of destiny? Qian Rinxue walked to her side and glanced at her. These are the remnants of the Divine River Civilization. They do have great power and potential. In the galactic battle, they also played a vital role. Qian Rinxue rubbed her chin. But according to what you said, am I also an angel with the power of destiny? In this universe? Wang Feng shook her head. If you didn't come to the Angel Nebula, the one sitting on the throne now would not be you, but someone else. You mean Angel Yen? Qian Rinxue was slightly stunned. Among the high-level warriors in the Angel Nebula, only Angel Yen has the prestige and strength. But her personality is not suitable to be a queen. You are not from this universe at all. Wang Feng coughed a few times. What power of destiny do you have? You rely on the original power of the Tribulation Origin Deity King. It has nothing to do with this universe. Naturally, it has nothing to do with this universe. Only these few. Wang Feng pointed at Goku, Gu Xiaoluan, and the others. They are the protagonists with the power of destiny. It's just that they are too weak now. Your arrival has changed the original trajectory of this universe and their original growth path. Qian Rinxue was expressionless. Oh, it's coming. Wang Feng suddenly said. Qian Rinxue raised his eyebrows and sneered. You really have the guts to come. Black clouds suddenly rolled in the originally indomitable blue sky. It was the battleship of the Nether River Civilization. What came down from the battleship was a special creature that was completely black and looked like a machine. It had 2 pairs of skeletal wings on its back. It looked very special. Is that King Taotai? Gu Xiaoluan looked at the figure and was slightly stunned. Wasn't this guy killed by me? Resurrected again? King Taotai was the leader of the Nether River Civilization. Behind the Nether River Civilization stood Death God Karl, but Karl did not participate in the Nether River Civilization's government. The Nether River Civilization had its own bosses and leaders. Of course, they all respected Karl. "Lonnie, what's going on?" Sun Wukong whispered. The Tautai army's attack on the Cerulean planet was part of the Cerulean planet's unbearable history. Because that was the time when the Divine College, which was also the time when the 3 god-making projects, had just begun. The blue planet had almost no power to resist. If not for the help of the angel civilization, it would have been difficult to survive that difficult period. Later, after many difficulties, the 3 warriors of the god-making project rose and defeated the Tautai army. "Let me see," Gu Xiaoluan said in a low voice. As soon as he finished speaking, Gu Xiaoluan instantly activated the universe engine in his body. Using the power of the Milky Way and the help of the angel civilization, he built a special engine. Universe was his greatest weapon. Universe activated. Open the operation interface, target confirmed, analyzing target. Known creature library, appearance is beast-type creature, unable to analyze the material of the creature's composition. Target creature is equipped with a void engine like the Nether River, the core computing speed is 6 frequency, but unable to analyze. Unable to analyze, Gu Xiaoluan frowned. He knew that Death God Karl of the Nether River Civilization had powerful and unpredictable abilities. It was not difficult to recreate a King Tautai. But this was definitely not a recreated King Tautai. It was the King Tautai that was destroyed by him, the one that was defined as nothingness and turned into dust. Resurrected? "Lonnie, how is it?" Sun Wukong asked. "No. It's different from before," Gu Xiaoluan said in a low voice. "My Xiongxin engine has all the data of the other party, which means that the other party is the King Tautai from before. But it's different from before. His body cannot be analyzed at all, even the basic composition cannot be analyzed, but the void engine that the other party created is not strong, far inferior to my universe. Logically speaking, I should be able to analyze it, but, speaking of this," he paused. At the same time, as the battleship from the Nether River Civilization appeared on this planet, the King Tautai descended. As well as the Tautai king who had descended, the ceremony square was in an uproar. It shouldn't be. I don't know what went wrong. Gu Xiaoluan's eyes were slightly blank. The other party is clearly a known creature, but it cannot be analyzed, and it does not have a void engine stronger than mine. My Xiongxin engine has 12 frequency. Back then I could. This is not good. Sun Wukong thought for a while. Could it be that Karl is secretly playing tricks? "Karl can't resurrect the dead King Tautai," Rena said in a low voice. "Karl can recreate thousands of King Tautai, but it is impossible for him to resurrect the same King Tautai. Even the big clock does not have such a powerful ability to reverse the universe." They had a vague feeling that something was not right. "Gu Xiaoluan, long time no see." King Tautai descended in the ceremony square in an uproar. He was tall, and from his appearance there was a special kind of beauty. As a high-level life form in the universe, there were no flaws in his body. Even if the civilization was different, and the aesthetic was different, it was usually hard to find flaws. Once this King Tautai descended, what surprised many of the civilization representatives who came to participate in the ceremony was that the angels did not do anything. They did not even send out the angel warriors. Long time no see indeed. Gu Xiaoluan walked out with a calm face. "King Tautai, you can still be resurrected. I really did not expect it." "Yeah, why, do you want to try it like last time?" King Tautai said with a smile. "See if your Xiongxin engine can be like last time, and directly rewrite me into a pile of scrap metal?" Gu Xiaoluan's mouth twitched slightly. This guy obviously had something to rely on, or else he would not say such things. "And you little sweethearts." King Tautai glanced at Sun Wukong and the others. "Last time, your cerulean planet could escape, but this time, it will not be so easy. This is the Angel Nebula, Rena suddenly said. You are so arrogant here, aren't you afraid of angering that King Tianxiu? We can't deal with you, but King Tianxiu can beat you up like killing an ant, right? Carl will not just stand by and watch. King Taotai smiled and said, not to mention, after today, the Angel Nebula might be history. As soon as these words came out, as expected, it immediately caused an uproar. What arrogant words! Chapter 1757. Provocation. After today, the Angel Nebula might cease to exist. It was a blatant provocation. At this moment, before the angels could speak, many guests who had come to attend the ceremony could no longer hold themselves back. Taotai King, don't tell me you've forgotten who you are? Or do you not know where this is? You're courting death. This is the main planet of the Angel Nebula. You Taotais were invited here. Not only did you not know your place, you even dared to speak such arrogant words. Back then, the Taotai army attacked the Cerulean planet and suffered a crushing defeat. They fled back to the Styx Nebula with their tails between their legs. Have you, the king of the Styx civilization, forgotten how defeated you were back then? The representatives of several civilizations rebuked one after another. There were even some who wanted to attack him directly. As the representatives of their civilizations, they were all powerhouses who stood close to the peak of this universe. Naturally, they were not afraid of King Taotai, even though King Taotai seemed to have become much stronger. However, this was the place of the Angel Nebula after all. They were guests and could not attack at will. However, King Taotai did not care at all. He just laughed and said, "Attack directly if you have the ability. Righteous and holy angels, what, I, King Taotai, am standing right here. Why should I be afraid of you?" As soon as he said that, a cold voice sounded. "Then I'll grant you your wish." A blazing light came from afar at the speed of light. It was a valiant angel with short golden hair. He was holding an Angel Nebula flame-class void weapon, the Angel Sword. Angel Yen. The representatives of many civilizations recognized the combat power representative of the high-level angels. Moreover, as an angel warrior who had executed countless people in the universe for thousands of years, he had eliminated countless civilizations. The name of Archangel Yen, there were a few civilizations in the universe that had heard of him. The sword slashed down. It seemed to contain the power of the peak chaotic stars. Before the violent airflow fell, it shook. The main planet of the Angel Nebula was different from other planets. It had been reinforced by a special power and was very stable. Many disasters in the universe could not even cause a ripple on the main planet of the Angel Nebula. Naturally, it was very difficult to use such a powerful force on such a stable planet. However, Angel Yan's sword could still easily shatter the void. But King Taotai didn't dodge. He didn't even move the mechanical wings on his back. The sword light slashed down, and the terrifying power split King Taotai into two. The scene appeared to be extremely fast and bizarre, even causing the representatives of countless civilizations to be stunned. He probably didn't expect the arrogant King Taotai to be so weak. However, in the next moment, this thought in their hearts was quickly overturned. "You're just a third-generation angel, and you think you can kill me with just a flame-class void weapon? Is that all you high-level angels have?" King Taotai, who had been split in half, did not disappear, but he was still able to let out a bell-like voice. "This void weapon of yours is equipped with an engine that doesn't even have the basic ability to rewrite matter. With just strength alone, I'm afraid that you would have a hard time defeating the previous me." Following that, the Taotai king that was split in half began to transform into two Taotai kings. Moreover, they both exuded the same powerful aura. It was incomparably strange. "Great sage, this Taotai king didn't steal your clone technique, did he?" On the other side, the super warrior from the Divine College was dumbfounded. "No, my doppelganger technique splits my strength into two. and it also requires a special black armor as a carrier. Goku shook his head. However, the aura of the two clones of King Taotai is no weaker than the previous one. It's not a clone, but a split. Gu Xiaoluan took a slight breath. It used an unknown genetic code to split genes and absorbed the power of Angel Yan's sword at the same time, and it's a complete split. I can feel two powerful life symbols here, which means that it's definitely not an illusion. Hearing this, everyone was extremely shocked. An unknown genetic code meant an unknown power. Was it given by that Carl? Rena murmured. She looked at Panjin and found that the latter's eyes were also filled with confusion. This general who had been in charge of planet Liang for tens of thousands of years, a powerful figure in the universe who could be compared to Holy Kaisha, did not seem to understand either. In the immortal spell civilization of planet Liang, such a special ability did not seem to exist. Angel Yen turned around and looked at the two King Taotai with a slight frown. Then he glanced at the Nether River Civilization's battleship in the sky. What, continue? Is this all you angels can do? King Taotai let out a wanton and arrogant laugh. Angel Yen did not attack. Although I don't know where you got this special ability, Angel Yen said slowly. But it seems like it's specifically targeted at me, an angel? King Taoya's laughter paused. The representatives of the various civilizations vaguely guessed something. Angel Yen is still very experienced. On the other side, she nodded slightly. Her gaze fell on King Taotai with a slightly cold gaze. She was the pioneer of the Angel Civilization's technology. Back then, the Angel Civilization's secondary biological engine, the Void Engine, was developed by her. Right now, she did not quite understand how King Taoya's strange ability came about. But it was obvious that this was just King Taoya's expression. Or rather, this ability was only targeted at angels. As long as angels attacked him, he could absorb the power and split them. If this continued, this King Taotai could split into two into four, and the number would keep increasing. He did not need other Taotais. He could form an army on his own and sweep through the entire Angel Nebula. She felt that if she was given time, she should be able to come up with a countermeasure. But now, she looked at King Tianxiu on the other side. King Tianxiu looked at Wang Feng. Can I kill him? Yes. Wang Feng nodded. But there's a risk. King Tianxiu snorted. There's a risk? If I have to attack, wouldn't that be too embarrassing? This King Taotai is at most a puppet of Carl. King against king, general against general. The king of the Angel Nebula, the leader of the Light-Dark Universe Alliance. If she attacked King Taotai, even if she won, it would not be a big deal. No, he's not Carl's puppet. Wang Feng shook his head. His ability comes from another god. Qian Rinxue's tone sank. You mean, it's from the divine universe? Wang Feng pondered for a moment and said, Ask Angel Yen to come over. What do you want to do? Qian Rinxue asked. The opponent's method is not very advanced. At most, it's one level higher than your universe's civilization. But it's a god from the divine universe after all. With this kind of ability, it's still very difficult for you to crack it in a short time. Wang Feng smiled. I can help her upgrade the Void Engine in the Angel Sword in her hand. Build a special framework, and one sword should be able to completely destroy the opponent. End of chapter. Chapter 1758. Qian Rinxue thought for a while, and felt that there was no problem with this arrangement. He summoned Angel Yen. Angel Yen arrived outside the palace with a muffled voice. King Taoya's laughter was still echoing in the square. This made her very unhappy. But there was no other way. Logic told her that if she forced herself to continue, it would only be more troublesome. When she arrived at the palace, she guessed a bit. Taking a deep breath, she pushed open the door and walked in. She saw King Tianxiu and the king, who was supposed to be today's main character but had yet to appear. They were standing on the viewing platform and understood the situation at a glance. Queen, that King Taotai. Angel Yen was silent for a moment. It's a bit strange. I have a feeling that if I slash a few more times, he might split into even more King Taotai. Your battle intuition is very powerful. Qian Renxue turned around. She and I analyzed it and said so too. You can feel it directly. Then, Angel Yen looked at Qian Renxue with a questioning gaze, as if asking, then what should I do? Qian Renxue shrugged, indicating that he did not know either. Then his gaze fell on Wang Feng. Sword. Wang Feng said concisely. Angel Yen hurriedly took out her angel sword. This was not an ordinary sword. It was a void weapon. Void weapons were equipped with a special void engine and had extraordinary power. Wang Feng held this long sword in his hand. A red lotus appeared in his palm and dyed it with a special flame. The flame contained the power of karmic fire. It would not be easy to deal with the power of the divine system universe without using the Chaos Lotus. Of course, Wang Feng could directly use the primordial origin to attack King Taotai and analyze it. He could instantly kill the opponent. However, this was a battle between angels and Taotais. It was not a big deal for him to instantly kill it. Only by being able to instantly kill an angel would these angels have more respect for him. Angel Yen took the longsword. It was faintly discernible and emitted a faint flame. That's it? She thought. He didn't upgrade his divine body, but simply swiped the sword lightly. Could it be that this angelic sword could kill King Taotai? With some doubts in his mind, Angel Yen took the longsword and activated the void engine. Activating Red Lotus Void Engine. Activation successful. Genetic calculation. Matching. 5%. 100%. Matching complete. Installing the new function Karmic Fire Trial. Installation successful. Do you want to activate the new function to attack the target? As a familiar voice sounded in his mind, Angel Yen hesitated for a moment. He flew out of the palace like a master who had been taught his skills by a peerless master and returned to the ceremony square. He focused his gaze. Anyone with a discerning eye could tell that the Angel Yen had gone to the palace to find a way to defeat the enemy. Moreover, from the looks of it, it was obviously related to the king of the Heavenly Blade Monarch. However, Angel Yen didn't seem to be much different from before. The representatives of the various civilizations did not find anything strange. The long sword in Archangel Hikari's hand, other than Archangel Hikari, it was difficult for others to see what had changed. That sword. Hishi's pupils contracted slightly. Most of the void weapons came from her hands and were not completely created by her. But it also contained some of her skills. Vaguely, Hishi felt a special power. What kind of power did the king bestow on Angel Yen? Her divine body doesn't seem to have changed at all. Is she just relying on a sword? Hishi had some doubts in his mind. At this moment, Angel Yen walked back to the square and looked at the two Taotai kings opposite her. The latter was not afraid at all, as if waiting for the angel to attack. Archangel Hikari hesitated. The void engine in the flame sword seemed to have been upgraded. But what kind of changes there were, and whether the new ability would be effective against the two Taotai kings, she was not sure. As a warrior, she should not hesitate. But this was beyond Angel Yan's understanding. The brief hesitation in her eyes was seen by the Taotai king. It seems that you've obtained some secret weapon? The Taotai king smiled. Did Monarch Tianxiu give it to you? Or is it today's main character, her man? I'm looking forward to your secret weapon. Come, I'm standing right here. If you move, I'll cut my own throat on the spot. He called himself I, and his tone was extremely arrogant. He was provoking Angel Yen to attack. That kind of confidence made Angel Yen even more hesitant. But after thinking about Angel Yen did not hesitate to raise the angelic sword. She silently chanted in her heart, Fire of Sin. Activating. Target locked. Analyzing. Target creature is a physical life form, contaminated with more than 10 million life karma. Tolerance is 0. The strange analysis sound was somewhat different from the previous engine. But soon, Angel Yen felt a special flame surging into her hand. It was a flame without temperature, but it made her feel a burning sensation in her mind. Her heart trembled. Just like before, she slashed her sword at the Taotai king. "Oh, so your secret weapon is this flame. What a joke." Seeing the sword slashing towards them, the two Taotai kings sneered in different voices. But when the sword was about to fall, an unparalleled sense of fear emerged in the hearts of the two Taotai kings. The fear of death. Having experienced death once, he was especially sensitive to this kind of fear. As if it was a conditioned reflex, the two Taotai kings dodged immediately. If they did not dodge, they would undoubtedly die. Angel Yen. Everyone, countless representatives of the civilizations who were watching this scene were stunned. "Why did you dodge? Didn't you say not to dodge?" "He's afraid." Gu Xiaoluan whispered, "That Taotai king is afraid. It seems like he's afraid of the flame burning on the angel's sword." "What flame is that? Isn't the Taotai king very arrogant? Why would he be afraid of a flame? He shouldn't be afraid of the grand sun primordial flame, right?" "That is." At this moment, Goku suddenly said, "In ancient times, I once heard my master say that there is a legendary flame that has no temperature and will not cause harm to ordinary people. But it can burn all the sins in this world. Gods and Buddhas can't escape from it. After living to modern times, I've asked around and confirmed that there is no such legendary flame in our universe. I originally thought that it was just a fable that my master told me. I didn't expect that I would really see it today. That is karma fire." Goku's voice had just faded. Suddenly, he realized that although the two Taotai kings dodged the trajectory of Angel Yan's sword, however, King Taotai did not know when the flames had infected him. Only a little bit. However, in an instant this little bit of flame burned wildly. It was as if the Taotai kings' bodies were poured with oil. But in an instant the flame burned the two Taotai kings to ashes. He did not even have the chance to say his last words. The breath of life disappeared. Gu Xiaoluan muttered, "What a terrifying flame!" Chapter 1759. Hellfire was hellfire. But this wasn't the hellfire from before. The hellfire that Wang Feng used in the Douluo world was the hellfire condensed from the hellfire Red Lotus in the form of his martial soul. And now, the Chaos Green Lotus had already broken away from the martial soul form and was a true soul. In other words, the Chaos Green Lotus that Wang Feng had now was the true soul of the Chaos Green Lotus in the Chaos world. This hellfire was naturally not something that could be compared to back then. And with Wang Feng's current level, he naturally understood that this hellfire was related to the origin of karma, and the origin of karma was the origin of the will of fate. It was extremely powerful and complicated. Even if a universe-level life form accidentally got infected, it would be difficult to deal with. Not to mention these life forms. Universe-level life forms were godlike existences in the divine system universe. Wang Feng didn't know which faction the god of the divine system universe was from, but he wanted to use the hands of the Nether River civilization in this universe to enslave and conquer other civilizations. But even if that god was here, he would definitely not dare to take the hellfire head-on. The Crimson God Fox Emperor sent news that the God War was imminent, and many factions in the divine system universe had sent out gods to inquire about him. Because the matter over there was getting bigger and bigger, now the entire divine system universe knew about the divine system. He, the native, could be considered to be quite famous. It was possible that some gods had already noticed his track. It was also possible that the gods over there were recently carrying out a universe hunt, and many unit universes would be affected by this hunt, causing many unit universes to be involved by the gods of the divine system universe. He told himself to be careful. The Crimson God Fox Emperor only reminded him. Wang Feng considered whether this universe would also have the intervention of the divine system universe. Moreover, this ceremony was just the right time to test it out. If the gods of the divine system universe were to intervene, with their power, they could greatly improve the civilization level of this universe. As long as they chose a civilization, conquered all the other civilizations in one fell swoop, and presented them as sacrifices, they could hunt this universe into their pocket at the fastest speed. Then, with so many civilizations gathered at this ceremony, wasn't it the best opportunity? When King Taotai appeared, Wang Feng was already sure that this universe was targeted by the gods of the divine system universe. At this moment, the entire ceremony square fell into shock. Even Angel Yen, who was holding the angel sword, was so shocked that he couldn't control himself. Wasn't this too exaggerated? It was solved so easily? What kind of flame was this? Angel Yen took a deep breath, feeling as if everything had been turned upside down. She wasn't the only one. At this moment, the representatives of the other civilizations were doing the same. Judging from the ability displayed by King Taotai just now, they asked themselves if they could find any way to suppress King Taoyu's arrogance in a short time. Who would have thought that it would be gone in the blink of an eye? Countless eyes stared at the angel sword in Angel Yan's hand. They were all guessing what kind of changes had happened to the sword. Although the Angel Nebula's void weapon was strong, it was not like this. It was obvious that something had been done. Combined with the place where Angel Yen had gone, the representatives of the various civilizations had a rough idea of what was going on. Indeed, only a power that transcends the universe can resist a power that transcends the universe? She whispered. She felt that if she had enough time, she could also crack the super gene of the Taotai King. It was an ability that targeted the super gene mutation of angels. That must be the ability of his void engine. However, she knew that he couldn't do it to such an exaggerated degree. In a single strike, not even a speck of dust remained. No, to be precise, only a pile of scrap metal was left. King Taoyu's entire soul had disappeared without a trace. King Taotai is gone. It's time for him to appear, right? She looked at the sky. She knew that King Taotai was just an appetizer. But in fact, even if it was just an appetizer, as King Taotai had said before, it could really defeat the Angel Nebula in one fell swoop. Because no angel in the Angel Nebula could deal with him. With the disappearance of King Taotai, the eyes of the angel warriors were burning with passion. At this moment, a battleship of the demon civilization appeared in midair. Two figures fell from the battleship and landed steadily in the square of the ceremony. One of the demons with a huge body even shattered the white jade-like ground in the center of the square. I say, Yaktos, you better be careful. This is the territory of the angels. Can't you land steadily? If you damage the flowers and plants here, the angels might just chase us out. Don't you know what's going on? Following that, a voice filled with curses rang out. The expressions of the representatives of the various civilizations changed. The demon queen Cold Eyes. There was no one present who did not recognize this voice. The demon queen Cold Ice was one of the three kings of the Angel Nebula. Later, because of a disagreement, she betrayed the Angel Nebula and joined the demon civilization. She became the supreme queen of the demon race, and was incompatible with the angel civilization. Not many people knew about this history. It was just that when Holy Keisha fell and King Tianxiu succeeded, this matter was too big. Those with a slightly higher level of civilization knew a little about it. And this demon queen Cold Ice had a perverse personality. She did everything according to her preferences, but her strength was incomparable. Under her rule, the demon civilization grew day by day. If it wasn't for the angel civilization's suppression, perhaps the current leader of the universe wouldn't be the Angel Nebula. I'm sorry, Your Majesty. I haven't adapted to this power yet. The large demon known as Yaktos lowered his head and revealed an ashamed expression. Cold Ice glanced around. It's really quiet. It seems that King Taotai failed. I knew it. Your King Tianxiu organized this ceremony and even invited me here. It's not that simple. Cold Ice's gaze fell on Angel Yen. She said with a smile, Angel Yen, did you kill King Taotai? You've grown up. As expected of that B***tch Keisha's favorite. You have potential. Then, her gaze turned and fell on the longsword in Angel Yan's hand. Suddenly, her eyelids twitched. She vaguely felt a trace of death. Cold Ice frowned slightly. Cold Ice, is your goal the same as King Taoyu's? Angel Yen held the longsword and asked indifferently, since when did demons and Taotais wallow in the same mire? Don't make it sound so bad. What wallow in the mire? Cold Ice sneered. This is cooperation. It's just to complete the same mission. There's no other way. After receiving someone's favor, I have to do something for them. So, I advise the Angel Nebula. Cold Ice coughed a few times. Join us. This way, there won't be any wars in our universe. You, on the other hand, have a special identity. After joining us, you'll definitely be stronger than you were in the Angel Nebula. Although it's a bit cliché, it's the truth. Cold Ice shrugged. You can understand it. It's probably an existence that you and I can't resist. It can make us stronger. The premise is that you have to give something in return. What thing? Yourself, Cold Ice said. And the entire Angel Nebula. End of chapter. Chapter 1760. Angel Yen looked at her in shock. The representatives of the various civilizations were confused, but they seemed to understand a little. The gods of the God System universe are using such a violent method to conquer this universe? Qian Renxue was so angry that she laughed. Violent and direct is often the simplest method. Wang Feng said slowly, the history of the God System universe. The Red Deity Fox Emperor gave me some information. If the gods want to gain more power, they need endless faith power. The fastest and simplest way to obtain faith power is this violent and direct method. Angel Yen is an angel with the power of destiny in this universe. To a certain extent, she has great potential. Once the gods obtain such a life form with the power of destiny, they will cultivate it vigorously and use their own divine power to brainwash it. Using absolute power and faith, they will imprint the mark of the gods in the latter's soul. Wang Feng continued, this way, they can develop her into a powerful minion and god seed of the gods. She will never betray the gods and will be one forever. There is no need to cultivate any emotions, because in the God System universe, any minion that is cultivated from emotions is not only troublesome to the gods, it is also meaningless. At the same time, the gods will also receive a powerful boost. In terms of pure strength, the Demon Queen is right. Wang Feng shook his head slightly. If she becomes a minion and god seed of the gods, she can even surpass your current strength. Qian Renxue's heart turned cold when she heard this. The level of their civilization was considered high. But she didn't expect that the God System universe, which was far beyond their civilization, would be like this. The system of the God System universe is perfect. Wang Feng sighed. They have studied this system for so many years. Regardless of their standpoint, it has nothing to do with good or bad. Because it is indeed something that benefits both sides. Qian Renxue couldn't refute. In fact, this was the case. Other things aside, the other party's civilization was more advanced than yours and could crush you. This was something that couldn't be refuted. Then what do you plan to do? Qian Renxue asked. Regardless of my standpoint, the system of the God System universe is fine. Wang Feng smiled. But I have my own standpoint. From my standpoint, what they're doing is naturally unacceptable to me. Otherwise, wouldn't that war be meaningless? That's more like it. Qian Renxue snorted and flew out. Angel Yen shouldn't be able to deal with this demon queen. At the same time, the Qian Renxue flew out. The Angel Yen made his move. She couldn't stand the demon queen's words. Hey, why are you in such a hurry? Isn't it good to consider more? Cold Chill sighed when she saw Angel Yen raiding. Queen, I'll do it. Yakdos pulled out the giant sword on his back and said in a deep voice. You can't. However, Cold Chill shook her head with a solemn expression. The sword in the little angel's hand is a bit special. Even the Taotai king, who was strengthened by the gods and possessed an immortal body that could resurrect infinitely, couldn't defeat her. You definitely can't do it either. In any case, you've followed me for so many years. How can I watch you throw your life away? Get out of my way, this little girl can't deal with me. Cold Ice kicked Kayaktos. She knew what had happened to King Taotai. Neither would he appear now. It could be said that it had already exceeded the scope of the original plan. Originally, King Taotai was used to lure King Tianxiu out. Now, instead of luring King Tianxiu out, he was killed by the Angel Yen raider. Otherwise, Yakdos would still be of great use. Cold Chill subconsciously glanced at the other palace out of the corner of her eyes. She frowned slightly. At this moment, the Angel Yen raider arrived. There was a burning aura in the soul, but the body couldn't feel it. Cold Chill was shocked. The flame on the angel's sword directly touched the soul. No wonder King Taotai died so miserably. God-suppressing whip. Cold Chill's palm pulled toward the void and immediately pulled out a long whip with divine light. It emitted a peerless light like a gemstone. In an instant, her soul couldn't feel the burning aura. Go. This thing was also a divine item bestowed by that person. She studied it for a while but couldn't figure it out. However, Cold Chill knew that this whip wasn't ordinary. Everything else aside, any life that touched this braid would become the purest of demons. Not only would their life form and thoughts become demons, but they would also have a powerful demon divine body and unlock the secrets of their genes. The whip and the angel's sword touched slightly, and there was an ear-piercing sound. The long whip unleashed powerful mental sound waves, causing the souls of all the representatives of the civilizations present to tremble. It was as if they saw a magnificent figure standing in the sky and staring at them as if they were ants. Their souls didn't dare to move. At the same time, the karmic fire on the angel's sword climbed up and wrapped around the whip like a fire dragon, burning with a sizzling sound. The Angel Yen raider groaned, his face pale. Clearly, he was also shocked by the whip. Go away. Cold Chill shook the whip in her hand and sent the Angel Yen raider flying with it. Almost in an instant, the long whip shrank dramatically and began to crack. Ling Bing's eyes suddenly shrank. She looked on in disbelief. He had thought that he would be able to easily subdue the little angel with such a simple exchange of blows. Unexpectedly, not only did the whip leave her hand and she didn't dare to touch it, but even the god-suppressing whip itself was heavily damaged. F***CK, what the hell is this? Cold Chill looked at the god-suppressing whip on the ground in the distance. She actually had the urge to pick it up. She had a feeling that once she picked it up, she would most likely burn herself. That was close. I'm fine. Cold Chill heaved a sigh of relief. However, from the corner of her eye, she saw King Tianxiu flying over. Cold Chill shouted, Carl, how long are you going to wait? King Tianxiu has already appeared. As soon as she said that, King Tianxiu had already flown to the square and caught the Angel Yen raider. However, at this moment the void gathered. A man in a long robe appeared in the void like a phantom. He looked very ordinary, like an ordinary human scholar. However, the moment he appeared, the eyelids of the countless representatives and even the angel warriors twitched. Death God Carl. This guy who once used the lives of countless planets and civilizations for research was definitely the nightmare and fear of many civilizations. The infamous Nether River civilization was ruled by him. King Tianxiu quietly looked at the four gods Carl. Her expression changed slightly. I say, King Tianxiu, don't tell me you think you can beat the two of us? Cold Chill heaved a sigh of relief when she saw Karl appear. Her god-suppressing whip was rendered unusable by a nameless fire. This already made her uncomfortable. If Karl didn't appear, King Tianxiu would be easy to deal with. However, the king who modified the angel sword and stood behind King Tianxiu didn't know what to do. Cold Chill naturally guessed that the fire was obviously not the power of the angel nebula. It could only be the power of the main character of this ceremony, the king who had yet to appear. 2 against 1, you will die miserably, Cold Chill said with a smile. You might even die more miserably than Keisha back then. Qian Rinxue raised an eyebrow and suddenly said, 2 against 1? Who said it's just me? With that, Qian Rinxue looked at Wang Feng and nodded slightly as if he was sending a signal to the latter. Chapter 1761. Qian Rinxue looked at Liang Bing in silence. At this moment, Angel Yen, who was on the side, vaguely remembered Queen Keisha. Queen Keisha had fallen into such a situation. She had been schemed against by these two and had fallen helplessly. Angel Yan's heart thumped. She was not the only one. Many angel warriors were watching this scene, especially Queen Keisha's guards. They felt like they were dreaming of the past. You mean he-she? Liang Bing smiled. Sorry, he-she is not qualified to participate in this war. With that, Liang Bing waved her hand at Yaktos. If he-she interferes with our battle, you go and stop her. With your current strength, you can even capture her, let alone stop her. Understood, Yaktos replied. After saying that, he looked at he-she seriously at the side. Obviously, Liang Bing thought she understood what Sky Blade Monarch meant. She thought only he-she could help Sky Blade Monarch. Many of the civilization representatives thought the same. Some of them wanted to step forward and help. You don't have to. However, before they could do so, Qian Rinxue interrupted them. The difference in strength is too great. You can't help me. Many of the civilization representatives looked ashamed. This was true. Even Sun Wukong from the Cerulean planet did not step forward. This was because he knew very well that in a battle of this level, they would only be a burden if they stepped forward. Panjin is just going to watch? Rena said through clenched teeth. The angels are allies. Apart from he-she from the Angel Nebula, Panjin is definitely capable of fighting Liang Bing. However, these two groups are coming aggressively. They're not targeting the Liang planet, but the angel civilization. If he steps forward, the Liang heavenly path will be involved. He'll fight, but he can't face these two directly. Gu Xiaoluan thought for a moment and said, at most, he'll help a few times to show the Liang heavenly path's intentions. However, if he and Sky Blade Monarch fight these two groups together, it means that the Liang planet will have to participate in this war. That's obviously impossible. Although they were allies, the Fiery Sun Heavenly Path and the Angel Civilization were not so close. Moreover, whether it's Karl or Cold Chill, these two are even more powerful than they were during the Galactic War. Goku closed his eyes and sensed. Then now that he-she is being held back, is Heaven Cultivation King the only one facing these two fellows? Wait a minute. As Reyna spoke, she suddenly recalled something. Where's the king? Everyone was stunned. That's right, where's the king? As if recalling something, they all turned their gazes in a certain direction. All of a sudden, in the distant palace, a bright flower suddenly flickered. The light of the flower extended in all directions. It exuded a unique energy fluctuation. Countless spots of light bloomed from the flower and gathered in the air. Gradually, these light spots converged to form a human figure. Ling Bing frowned slightly. Looking at the scene in the distance, her heart skipped a beat. A bad premonition arose from the bottom of her heart. Karl, what's going on? She looked to the other side. Karl was silent for a moment before he said, The calculations of the great clock are the sacred atoms. Sacred atoms, isn't that Keisha's sacred body? As Ling Bing spoke, she suddenly froze. Then, she looked into the distance in shock. It was precisely because of this. The light seemed to have finished converging. Streams of energy gathered from all directions and converged on the human figure formed by the light. At this moment, countless pairs of eyes were watching. They all took a deep breath. Ling Bing, since you've sensed this king, how do you plan to deal with this king this time? A mellow voice with a hint of intelligence and majesty faintly sounded. The bodies of countless angel warriors trembled. Hearing this voice, they knew who it was. F***CK. Ling Bing's face turned pale. Her expression was extremely ugly. She had thought of 10,000 possibilities, but she had never thought of this one. This voice belonged to that B***TCH, sacred Keisha. How is this possible? Ling Bing rubbed her eyes slightly. Her voice was low. Her sacred body was decomposed into sacred atoms. Weren't they scattered throughout the universe by your great clock? Even if she was resurrected, theoretically, it would take at least a few 100 million years. How long has she been dead? Less than a few decades? The sacred atoms are converging. Why can't your great clock sense it? Sacred Keisha had died because of a scheme. Furthermore, it wasn't a normal death. Her body and soul had turned into sacred atoms. The sacred atoms couldn't be destroyed. This meant that she couldn't be killed. However, if these sacred atoms could be scattered all over the universe, there would be countless of them. Then, even if sacred Keisha could be resurrected, it would take at least a few 100 million years. By then, the universe would have changed greatly. Even if she was resurrected, it would be useless. However, how long has it been since sacred Keisha died? Carl didn't speak. Under the black robe, no expression could be seen. Countless pairs of eyes looked at the sky, bathed in the light gathered by the flower. As the light gradually disappeared, a golden-haired woman walked out. She was wearing the Angel Nebula's king attire. It was the same attire as King Tianxiu, but it was a king with a different style. King Tianxiu, sacred Keisha. None of the angels knew how she was resurrected. Even she didn't know. However, she had a premonition in his heart. That king had mentioned King Tianxiu that day. However, she didn't expect that the gift would be King Tianxiu himself. Originally, she thought that king meant to cultivate another King Tianxiu, such as Angel Yen. However, he didn't expect that he would directly resurrect sacred Keisha. This was many times more exaggerated than cultivating King Tianxiu. She couldn't imagine how difficult it would be. In such a short time, even if Angel Nebula had a big clock, it was impossible to resurrect Keisha so quickly. Keisha walked to King Tianxiu's side with a smile on her face. I didn't expect that I could be resurrected so happily, Keisha said slowly. I didn't expect it either. Qian Renxue nodded. When she knew that Wang Feng wanted to resurrect sacred Keisha, she was also stunned for a long time. She thought that it was impossible. The sacred atoms scattered all over the universe were countless. Gathering them together was not something that could be done in a short period of time. Even with a big clock, it was difficult to calculate the position of every sacred atom. Qian Renxue knew that Wang Feng had created a special celestial calculator and named it Snow Epiphyllum. However, Qian Renxue didn't know that Wang Feng had used the Snow Epiphyllum to calculate all the sacred atoms and how he gathered such a large number of sacred atoms together. That's a pity. I thought you knew a little. Sacred Keisha glanced at the windowsill of the palace behind her. End of chapter. Chapter 1762. The person who was most surprised by her resurrection was naturally herself. Although she had turned into countless holy atoms, her consciousness did not disappear. It was just sealed in countless holy atoms. It was just that she could not control these holy atoms that were so far away. She could only wait for the universe to change and let these holy atoms slowly gather. Therefore, she was aware of the changes in the universe. However, should we deal with these two first before we talk? Qian Rinxue asked. She was now very curious about how Wang Feng did it. However, the enemy was still in front of her. Keisha nodded slightly. At this moment, with her resurrection, every warrior in the Angel Nebula was extremely excited, as if they had been injected with chicken blood. King against king, is this fair? On the windowsill, Wang Feng smiled slightly. Coming to the Angel Nebula to resurrect Holy Keisha was one of his plans. There was only one reason, which was to liberate Qian Rinxue. Qian Rinxue saw the Angel Nebula as her responsibility. After all, she had been here for thousands of years, almost 10,000 years. This was much longer than when she was still a human. Her sense of belonging to the Angel Nebula was naturally stronger than that of a human. With Holy Keisha in charge of the Angel Nebula, Qian Rinxue had more time to do other things. Moreover, because Qian Rinxue could not easily give up the Angel Nebula and her ambition for herself, she did not want to give up the origin of tribulation origin God in her body. Wang Feng did not take it by force. However, he knew that Qian Rinxue was not a selfish person. She did not give him the origin of tribulation origin God because she was worried that her strength would be greatly reduced. Then, the Angel Nebula would definitely suffer a serious blow. She had to be responsible for the Angel Nebula. Therefore, she did not give him the last origin of tribulation origin God. Now that Holy Keisha was here, she could relieve some of her responsibilities. She could do many more things and even reach a higher level. At the same time, the resurrection of Holy Keisha, the leader of the Angel Nebula, was enough to shock the Angel Nebula to a certain extent. Many angels in the Angel Nebula did not join Qian Rinxue's Dark Order. They still believed in Keisha's righteous order. Resurrecting Holy Keisha was not only a favor to the leader, but also a favor to the Angel Nebula. Moreover, this kind of favor was not something that anyone could do. Even if those life forms from the Divine System universe came, they wouldn't be able to revive Holy Keisha so quickly. Wang Feng snickered. It was not difficult to calculate the location of the sacred atoms. The snow Sirius cloud he created was based on the universe model of the primordial origin. Compared to a celestial calculator like the big clock, it was a level higher. He easily figured out the number and position of all the holy atoms. Assembling them was the difficult part. However, Wang Feng had transformed the Pangu axe into the Bell of Chaos. As for the Chaos Bell, as a connate cardinal treasure of the primordial world, it had powerful functions. In addition to suppressing the heavens, it could also distort the power of spacetime, allowing one to freely travel through time and space in the universe. Wang Feng used the Bell of Chaos to travel through the universe without wasting any time. In the blink of an eye, he could gather all the holy atoms in the seats into one. In the end, he used his divine power to condense all the holy atoms and awaken Keisha's consciousness. Only then did he revive Holy Keisha. It was easy to say, but it was very difficult for the heavenly gods of the Divine System universe to do so. As the power left behind by the primordial world, the Pangu Axe True Soul and the Chaos Green Lotus True Soul would be even more useful in the future. At this moment, the battle between Keisha and Qian Rinxue began. Wang Feng glanced casually. He did not care about the outcome of the battle, because as long as the god of the Divine System universe did not descend, he would not personally make a move. And regardless of winning or losing, Wang Feng believed that the god of the Divine System universe would definitely appear personally. The power level of this universe was not low. Even the gods of the Divine System universe wanted to play with this universe wantonly, unless the other party was a primordial cosmos god. But gods of that level stood at the peak of the Divine System universe system. It was impossible for them to dare to use such methods. whether it is the ability of King Taotai or the powerful strength of that whip. The god who wants to hunt this universe is most likely an ordinary heavenly god. Wang Feng thought, at most, he is a little stronger than my opponent from the Donghuang divine system. They might even be close. After all, that person from the Donghuang divine system was a genius god of the Donghuang divine system. The battle between the four peak existences in the universe was extremely powerful. Fortunately, the angel civilization was prepared. To be precise, Qianrenxue was prepared. They knew that a great battle would occur in this ceremony. They had already reinforced the city on the angel main star, and the laws of the angel star were also strengthened. Otherwise, the angel nebula would most likely not be able to withstand the battle. What surprised Wang Feng was that according to Qianrenxue, Karl was supposed to be an illusory body, a Karl that did not have much actual combat power. He actually had a real body. Wang Feng could tell at a glance that he was an illusory body. It was very similar to the void life form, 80% of the original. And the void life form did not have a real body. The fleshly body could not withstand this void life form. I see. This fleshly body was condensed using the power of faith. Wang Fengxin smiled and saw through Karl's fleshly body at a glance. The divine system universe is really something. Using a fleshly body condensed from the power of faith as a carrier to carry this void life form. It seems that the divine system universe has a very high level of research on void life forms. A void life form with a fleshly body not only had immunity to void life forms, but also had the power of the fleshly body and could unlock the genetic code. In short, not only was it immune to all attacks, but it also had extremely powerful power. For a scholar-type expert like Karl, this was the biggest shortcoming. With the help of the big clock, he was basically undefeated. Any form of attack would be completely calculated in front of him, and at the same time, he could easily break it. The immunity of the void life form could even be immune to the karma of the epidemic, because it was not a normal life form. In this universe, void life forms were called illusory bodies. Although the original Karl could not defeat Holy Kaisha could not kill Karl either. To defeat Kaisha, the only way was to change the rules of the universe. In a sense, this guy is invincible and undefeatable in this universe. Especially after being strengthened by that god, he has a special fleshly body. Wang Feng smiled. However, he was only invincible in this universe. To him, he could break it with a flick of his finger. In front of him, void life forms were like fish on a chopping board. End of chapter. Chapter 1763. The battle between the two sides ended very quickly. Even the resurrected Holy Keisha couldn't deal with the invincible death god Karl. There were two legendary kings in the Angel Nebula. Both of them stood at the top of the universe. Their initial goal was to get rid of the demon queen Cold Bing first, and then deal with death god Karl. The process went smoothly. The two kings joined forces and captured Cold Bing at lightning speed. As for killing her, it was too difficult and impossible. Even the Taotai king couldn't be killed by the known means of this universe, let alone Cold Bing. Although the long whip in her hand was shot down by the angel Yen, she had the same ability as the Taotai king. She unlocked the super gene in her eyes and gained some powerful ability. If he guessed correctly, Wang Feng believed that this ability should be given by some powerful universe will. Obviously, it was the work of that god. The power level of this universe didn't reach the level of the universe's will. Keisha and Qianrenxue joined forces and trapped Cold Bing in the middle of the square at lightning speed before she could react. A layer of black light spread around her like a black hole, firmly sucking her in. That was Qianrenxue's means. When the Angel Nebula was attacked by the leader of the Heavenly Palace Order, Xianyi. Xianyi had a special black hole engine that could create black holes to fight against enemies. Later, when the Angel Nebula was in danger, Qian Rinxue returned and repelled Xian Yi. Together with He-Shi, they developed this black hole engine and carried it in the divine body of Qian Rinxue. But because it was an improved version of the black hole engine, it wasn't afraid of the original black hole engine's ability to absorb enemies. Because the created black holes couldn't be controlled. As an improved version of the black hole engine, it could be controlled. Of course, it wasn't as powerful. However, it was more than enough to trap someone. But then, the two angel kings faced Death God Karl. It was a completely different matter. Karl had combat ability, plus his own big clock, and his understanding of the universe. He was basically suppressing Keisha and Qian Rinxue. But Wang Feng knew that Karl couldn't win against the two. Although he was a void life, he was given a special physical body. But in the end, he did not surpass the limits of this universe. Keisha and Qian Rinxue both had angelic bodies. If they weren't ambushed and cold ice wasn't around, they wouldn't be able to do anything. Karl couldn't defeat Keisha and Qian Rinxue either. The three of them fought from the south to the north, from the east to the west. They broke through the atmosphere outside the planet. Even when they reached the outside of the Angel Nebula, there was no result. Karl had the upper hand, but that was all. There was no doubt about the power of the divine body. If they continued fighting like this, they might be able to win after a few years. But it had been too long. Karl's body was condensed from faith power. After such a long battle, it was easy to lose faith power. It's about time for that god to show himself. It's not good for this stalemate to continue. Wang Feng thought to himself. However, contrary to Wang Feng's expectations, several days passed. In the past few days, the representatives of many civilizations who had flown out to watch the battle did not even blink. It was as if only a few breaths had passed, and he was afraid that he would not be able to see the result of the battle. Still not showing up, on the fourth day, Wang Feng looked at the faint light in the sky. 3 streams of light fell from the sky. It was the 3 of them who had returned to Angel from the universe, and that god still hadn't shown up. Patience is good. Wang Feng thought for a moment. It seems that this god should know that there is another god in this universe besides her. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been able to hold herself back. Since you don't want to show yourself, I'll provoke you to show yourself. Wang Feng sneered. At this moment, Qian Rinxue flew back to the palace covered in dust. Her eyes flashed with unwillingness. Wang Feng, I want to defeat him. Give me an idea. After fighting for a few days, she had been suppressed. It was a 2-on-1 situation. Even though she knew that Karl had become so strong because of the gods in the divine system universe, she couldn't bear it. But she couldn't bear it anymore. Previously, this Karl had the big clock and was no match for her. Otherwise, after the Galactic War, he wouldn't have stayed in the Styx Nebula and not dared to act rashly. Now, he was being suppressed and beaten so miserably. Although it wasn't fatal, this kind of grievance was very uncomfortable, and she couldn't find any solution. Should I do it myself? Wang Feng said. I don't need you to do it yourself. I want to defeat him myself. Qian Rinxue's tone was very stubborn. Wang Feng thought for a moment and said, I'll lend you the origin to dispel the latter's illusory state. This way your attack will work. What origin? Qian Rinxue frowned slightly. The void origin. One of the 7 origins left by the origin tribulation godly king, Wang Feng said. The void origin was the origin that the origin tribulation godly king studied to deal with the void life. Previously, the dark demon realm's black tide, which was the void life from the dark plane, invaded the dark demon realm. Wang Feng sucked the black tide into the ancestral realm and studied those void life. But at that time, Wang Feng didn't have the void origin and couldn't use it. Now it was different. Okay. Qian Rinxue gritted her teeth and handed the angelic longsword to Wang Feng. I don't want the origin. You can temporarily give the origin to this longsword so that I can deal with him. By the way, is that flame of yours effective? Karmic fire is ineffective against the void life, Wang Feng said. The void life was not corporeal and had no karmic connection. Karmic fire naturally wouldn't be effective. Otherwise, those void life wouldn't be so troublesome. Wang Feng took the angelic longsword and pondered for a moment. Then, he offered a snow epiphyllum and gently pressed it into the angelic longsword. In an instant, the imprint of a snow epiphyllum appeared on the blade of the longsword. This snow epiphyllum was originally made for the Angel Nebula. I'll attach the void origin to it and place it on your angelic longsword. This way, during the battle, the snow epiphyllum's calculation frequency will be enough for you to perfectly unleash some of the void origin's abilities and analyze the latter's illusory state. Wang Feng said, however, the illusory state can only be removed temporarily. If you want to remove it permanently, you'll have to change the rules. Or, you can integrate it into samsara. He wanted to use the void life from the black tide to first use the void origin to decipher the void life to a certain extent. Then, he would integrate the life energy into the ancestral realm's 9 paths of samsara and create the first batch of ancestral realm's 9 clans. Qian Renshua waved his hand. I understand. Anyway, after removing it, it'll be fine as long as we can defeat him. Without the illusory state, he can only use his corporeal body. This way we can destroy his corporeal body. Let's see what he can do then. Chapter 1764. After that, Qian Renshua returned to the battlefield. I've been injured a lot since you left. Keisha's injuries were several times more than Qian Renshua's, but her tone was still calm. Don't worry, I won't let you get hurt for nothing. Qian Renshua held the angelic sword in his hand and felt the power in it. He looked at Carl in the distance. Carl was in a very special state at this time. His illusory body was wrapped around his physical body, and there was a black scythe in his hand. The illusory body was like a double image, making all the attacks of Keisha and Qian Renshua ineffective. But because there was a physical body in the illusory body, he was able to exert great power. It was very rogue. Qian Renshua held the long sword in his hand and slashed at Carl. Carl still didn't dodge. His expression was calm as if he didn't care at all, because he knew that Keisha and Qian Renshua's attacks were ineffective. In the known universe, there was no power that could deal with illusory bodies, or directly rewrite the rules of the universe and define illusory bodies. But that required more calculations than the big clock, simulating the civilization of the universe to a very high level and beyond direct rewriting of the definition. Otherwise, it would never be possible to attack the illusory body. But in the next moment, the long sword easily cut through his illusory body. It was directly cut in two, revealing his body. It was as if an illusion had been slashed apart. He didn't even have time to react. This incomprehensible power made his heart sink. He knew that king had made a move again. Otherwise, this heaven cultivation king's angelic sword wouldn't have any effect on him. Qian Renshua cut through the latter's illusory body with a sword, and a happy smile appeared on his face. Your illusory body can't take it anymore. Your ultimate fear, thinking that the void is the end of civilization. Theoretically, it can't work anymore. Oh, that's right, you accepted the power of other universes. How can you still take the original path? I say, Carl, you'd better ask the one behind you to come out. Your illusory body has been broken. You're no match for us at all. Qian Renshua would know that Wang Feng was asking the god who interfered with this universe to come out. Naturally, he would cooperate with him. I knew it. Keisha walked over. You are already an illusory body. How can you have a physical body? Carl, who's behind you? Another universe. She vaguely understood something and turned around to look at Wang Feng. She knew very well who was the one who resurrected her. The one behind you is very ambitious. Keisha's eyes turned cold. Carl snorted. He's an existence that surpasses the ultimate terror, a height that this universe can never reach. I'm not here to destroy you, but to give you new life. That one sentence had already revealed the truth. What new life? Keisha chuckled. Like you, a puppet now? Like you. Your soul and mind seem to have been changed. Is this a new life? It is undeniable that you have indeed obtained greater power. But you're not you anymore. Then what's the point? Keisha sighed. Before, although you and I were on opposite sides, you had your own goals. Even if you became an illusory body, you only wanted to study the essence of this universe. But now, you're more like a tool that has lost its soul. Carl was stunned and took a deep breath. His eyes, which had never shown any emotion before, were now filled with anger. You've broken through his defenses, Qianrenxue said. Keisha, as expected of an old rival. You know him best. Keisha shook her head. Cold Ice is my sister after all. I know from Cold Ice. But Cold Ice hasn't reached Carl's level. At this moment Carl sneered. If that's the case, then prepare to welcome my lord's anger. I know that the king directed you to do this to lure my lord out. But he doesn't know what kind of existence he's provoking. I'm only doing this to protect this universe. It's an honor to let you angels serve my lord. You don't understand because you can't understand my lord's power. With that, his figure disappeared. He waved his hand. In the universe outside Angel Planet, a huge magic array began to appear. The magic array flashed in all directions around Angel Planet. Moreover, it seemed to have attracted some powerful force. It caused the entire planet to tremble. Even the nebula began to tremble. What's going on? Why do I have the urge to kneel down? What a terrifying power! What is it? This huge tremor shook the hearts of almost all the lives on Angel Planet. But they didn't see anything. That kind of absolute pressure seemed to be able to make them unable to breathe. It's coming, Wang Feng relaxed his shoulders. He didn't have a good impression of the lives in the Divine System universe. Moreover, according to the news from Red God Fox Emperor, this god obviously wanted to hunt this universe and seize the power of faith of the lives in it. He didn't even hesitate to start a war in this universe to quickly conquer this universe's civilization. Wang Feng didn't like the Divine System universe's methods. Undeniably, he wasn't necessarily wrong. But if they provoked him, he would definitely do it. Moreover, his relationship with the Divine System universe was very subtle. At the same time, the light array lit up. A terrifying giant shadow that covered the entire sky rose from the sky. The giant shadow covered the entire Angel Planet. It was a giant shadow that seemed to be alive. It seemed to be standing in the distant starry sky of the universe, staring at the many lives in the universe. On the great light shore, the giant shadow emitted endless immortal light. All the angels in the angel starfield could see this light shadow. Even if they had never seen it before, they all wanted to kneel down and worship the giant shadow. It was as if that was the instinct of life. Even existences at the level of Qianrenxue and Keisha trembled violently. It's even stronger than Mo Tiance. Qianrenxue's heart trembled violently. She had seen a universe-level life form before. Although the Mo Tiance that appeared in the Douluo world was only a consciousness clone, Qianrenxue had experienced that kind of power, and now this giant shadow was even more terrifying. It even made her lose any desire to fight. She could at least exchange a few blows with Mo Tiance back then. But now what exactly is this? Keisha's voice was low and stuttering, as if she was suppressing some impulse. The impulse to kneel down and worship. As noble as she was, she had her own will and wouldn't allow herself to do such a thing. Moreover, she was facing an intruder. Live or die. It was at this moment that the godlike giant shadow spoke a few simple words. End of chapter. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.